we go. Here we go. And it's 7 o'clock. So that means we start the show. Hi. Welcome. Welcome to Order 42. I am Rob. And yeah, there's some apparently things coming in, messages coming in. I should mute that. Oh, it is muted. Okay, good. Good. Oh, that was just the announcement that, hey, we're live or something. Hey, how's it going? Hi. Yeah, today's gonna be.
I know I'm not late for the boot-eating baby.
I mean, you know, there are definitely streams for that, but no butt eating today. But we have a lot of things planned. So yeah, I mean, as you can see from the title, we're gonna be talking with Justin Yates a little bit later on in the show, probably around 8 o'clock. I mean, maybe a little before, maybe a little bit after, but that's the plan. We're doing the thing, and it's gonna be fun. It really is gonna be a lot of fun. We have a lot of things to show, and I think it's gonna be really fun. But until then, we've got a few things to talk about. First, there is a liquid poll going on right now, and the plan is to do the tasting before Justin. So probably around 7:45. So in about 45 minutes, whatever is the winner is going to be the winner. And then we're going to try it. And so, yeah, we've got from last week, we've got the maple cream bar. We've got the ho ho ho, which is the Swiss cake roll. And then new this week is the white chocolate blueberry cheesecake. So, yeah, you guys choose. And right now, white chocolate blueberry cheesecake is winning. So it's up to you. If you want something different, you got to vote. You can't, if you don't vote, then you don't get to complain about the, hey, just vote if you want. If you want, you don't have to. I mean, I'm not your dad. But anyway, so yeah, the show. We're also going to be, I've got a stack of things that have come in this week. Yes, I know. I said I was going to save my money. For the most part, I've done pretty well. But I did buy a few things. So we'll talk about that later on after the interview segment, which will last about an hour. And then Justin and I both are going to close out the rest of the show with some news. Maybe, like I said, some pickups. Some what we've been watching this week. Yeah. So, yes. So, hey, how are you guys doing? Ninjinzu was first, and he said, yes, sir, got my copy last week. I assume you mean Justin's Tell Me Something Great. But again, sorry, I got attacked by a burp. Excuse me. Yeah, we'll talk more about this later on in the stream. Oh, and I am wearing my Justin Yates t-shirt here, so you know, gotta look the part and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, let's see, what else do we have? Of course, the liquid tasting, a little bit of news, not much, just a little bit. I mean, really, there's two big things, really, this week as far as news goes. You've got Spider-Man Brand New Day, $2 billion and counting. And then The Odyssey is probably this week will be the top box office R-rated film of all time. Which is kind of amazing when you think about that. It's kind of amazing. Deadpool and Wolverine was number one. Number two was Joker. Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker was the number two top box office when it comes to an R rating. That's kind of nuts, man, when you think about it. And this is all from a movie that everybody said was going to flop. It's kind of interesting how that works. But anyway, how are you guys doing? And Jinzu was first. got his copy last week. Yes. Rufus the Red, hello. Good to see you, sir. Yes. Good to see you. And then Ricky came in and said Maple never wins. Well, you never know. You never know what could happen. I mean, there's 5 votes right now. You've got 40 minutes to cast your vote. And right now, 60% white chocolate blueberry cheesecake, 20% for Swiss cake roll and maple cream bar. So, hey, if you want to, yeah, you want maple cream bar to win, you got to vote. I mean, I don't make the rules. I mean, I kind of do, don't I? Yeah. Yeah, I do. Anyway, yeah, it's hot. It's crazy hot outside. Last I checked, it was let's see, 100 and nope. Like, I don't want to go out there ever again. Like right now, I don't want to go out there. I mean, it's just the way it is. But yeah. And of course, 8-bit tacos, thank you for the for the donation. No butt aiding. Sorry, you know. But no, it's not that kind of stream. And, you know, it's YouTube. If I do that, I mean, number one, where would we go from there, you know? There wouldn't be anywhere else to go. Number one. Number two, I don't want to get demonetized and shut down, you know? And number three, it's just not my thing. So, and then Jinzu said, the eat starts when your donos roll in. Well, like I said, the donations are very much appreciated, not necessary. This is kind of a free show, but at the same time, I don't care how many donations I get. I'm not doing that on the stream. It's not happening. But anyway, let's see what else. What else is going on? Oh, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I think it was one of the Discord hangouts when I basically made the decision that yes, I was going to go ahead and purchase my mother-in-law's 3DS, which is in great condition, like great condition. So yeah, I've been toying with that. It's been pretty fun, been pretty interesting. Also, I did have well, I guess we talked about that. You know, my dad's colonoscopy went well. Everything's good. But basically, Thursday and Friday, my sleep schedule is completely jacked. Or it was completely jacked. I slept for about, because let's see, I was up for 22 hours Wednesday, because we didn't end up getting off in the Discord till about 1:30. Yeah, and I got up at 4:45 that day. So yeah, I'd been up for 22 hours roughly, and I slept for like 10 on Thursday. Ended up staying up really late, and then Friday was all jacked up. I mean, it's just like that thing about you know, you just don't feel great because you know your sleep's all messed up. And then got back on the horse, and now I'm on a somewhat relatively, you know, normal schedule. It's all right. It's okay. Been watching a couple movies, watching a couple series, but mostly I was getting my sleep schedule turned around, and then doing a lot of errands. We ran a lot of errands this weekend, and like I said, get my 3DS all nice and set up. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Ricky, you drive home safe, sir. Watch it. You just watch it. Okay? You just watch it. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. Oh, something else that I want to mention. I didn't realize this until it was already happening. But the tickets for Dune 3 have now gone on sale. And yes, if you look at the calendar, yeah, that's 4 months away. So basically, Avengers Doomsday tickets are on sale, and Dune 3 tickets are on sale. Dune 3 actually has an early screening on 2 nights, Monday night and Tuesday night. Okay. Monday night is, I believe it's all IMAX screenings. And then Tuesday night, I think there's IMAX screenings and then some larger format type screenings. Okay. So, your Cinemark XDs, your what is it, AMC XL or whatever, right? I think Dolby Cinema is part of that too. So, got on to the old Fandango because Cinemark wasn't showing any of the, like, if you go to the, like, I have a Cinemark app because Cinemark's usually what I go to just because they're closer to me than AMC or anywhere else. So usually I use the Cinemark app. Cinemark app wasn't showing any screenings. So I was like, okay, went to Fandango and whoa, there they are. And you can check the seats and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, there we go. Click on it. Waiting, waiting, waiting. There was a queue on Fandango. So basically, people were beating up the websites trying to get tickets for Dune, the early tickets. So I ended up with a screening on Tuesday night, and it's going to be Cinemark XD. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess it depends on how you look at it, I got the D box. I'll probably turn it way down because I don't need to be rocking and rolling and moving all over the place. But really great seats. Dune 3, Tuesday night. And then Thursday afternoon at 2:30, I got the Avengers Doomsday tickets. So I'm all squared away to see the movies so I can do reviews on them. So, but that probably also means if you pay attention, yeah, I do the stream on Tuesdays. So I'm probably not going to stream on Tuesday. I'll come home, I'll do my review, and then maybe we'll stream Wednesday night. And that'll be the rest of the Doomsday hype, I guess. So yeah, Dune did that last time for Dune 2. I got to see it like 4 or 5 days early. Get to see it 2 days early this way. And I don't have to watch Dune and Avengers Doomsday on the same day. So, but yeah, if you're interested in getting tickets, you might want to go ahead and try to lock some of those down because yeah, the site was having some troubles. It was having some troubles. I'll just say that. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how that whole weekend goes. I mean, people are saying, like 360 million, right? That was the record that Spider-Man Brand New Day did. Right now, Avengers Doomsday is outpacing the pre-sales for Brand New Day. Brand New Day tickets went on sale like 40 days early. This is 4 months early. So I don't know how it's going to go. But they're saying that this might be the biggest box office weekend in history. And I can't imagine what the parking lots are going to be like. Because it's going to be nuts. Especially if you've got an IMAX 70 millimeter there. And you've got regular, I guess, XL or Dolby Cinemas or whatever. So there's going to be people watching both movies all day long. And it's going to be nuts. So it should be fun, though. It should be a fun time at the movie theaters on December 17th is when, I guess, the main screenings start. And then, of course, the weekend's going to be nuts. What I'm curious about is that going to be, are either one of these movies going to be movies that I'm like, oh, I want to see that again? I can tell you right now, IMAX, I apologize to all the IMAX lovers out there, but I can't stand IMAX because they really pack people in like sardines. There's no recliners. You're really packed in there. And it's not like I need a bunch of elbow room or anything like that. I don't mind sitting like this the entire time. But it's just not comfortable. It's not as comfortable. And man, you really, in order to get I guess the best experience in IMAX, you really need to be somewhat in the center. Which means, man, to try to get those tickets for where you're wanting to sit, I mean, you had to be Johnny on the spot and like you had to already be done pre-ordering your tickets. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, do I don't know what that was. I wonder if that was a sub. Oh, okay. Apparently, I'm not even logged into Streamlabs. Great. Streamlabs. Streamlabs, you moron. Just let me in. I'm still clicking buttons to get in to Streamlabs. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, Johnny Hell Promotions just subscribed. Hey, thank you. Thank you for the sub. So yeah, that doesn't usually happen on stream. Usually it's a video I'm doing or whatever, but hey, thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, man. I'm look, these two movies are the movies that I'm probably the most excited for the rest of the year. Of course, I'm curious about Digger. I'm the Tom Cruise movie. I'm curious about of course I'm going to see The Dog Stars next week. I mean, I know I don't think that movie's going to do well. I'm just calling it right now. I don't think it's going to do well. But it's Ridley Scott. It's based on a book that I read that I liked a lot. I really want to see what Ridley's going to bring. I think it's going to be really good, but we'll see. I don't know. And then also next week, we've got Coyote versus Acme. Curious to see how. I don't think it's going to do well either, but I'm curious to see if it's, if the reviews are good and all that stuff. I might try to catch that one. I definitely want to see Colony, which is I guess, zombie kind of film that's directed by the same director of Train to Busan, which was excellent. So yeah, I want to see all those. And then I mean, there's it's gonna be a fun I guess final third of the year, you know. So yeah, it's gonna be good. And then of course we got Avengers Encore or Endgame Encore. I don't know how that's gonna work. Like, is it gonna be just the movie with a couple of extra little things at the end? Is it? I mean, is it even necessary? I don't know. I don't know. But what do you know? What do you guys know? I'm curious if there's people that are like, I might skip this stream just because, I don't know who Justin Yates is. I mean, it's like it's pretty much a regular stream, except hey, we're gonna be having a chat in the middle of it, and then we're gonna do the stream, like regular stream. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. It's going to be interesting. And look, oh my gosh, looky there. That's kind of shocking to me. That Swiss cake roll is now in first place with 44% of the votes. White chocolate blueberry cheesecake is in second place, and maple cream bar still in third place. But hey, y'all make your decisions. We have liquids to try, and I got to tell you, I don't know how they did it. I'm not sure if it was intentional. It probably was just, maybe they got a little bit on the outside, but I can smell this maple cream bar. Whoa. It smells really good. So we shall see. We shall see how it all goes. Filbert said, I'm here for Justin and movies. Well, I mean, you've come to the right place. I just can't believe I just can't believe there's really not a whole lot of news this week. Oh yeah, there's D23. I guess I could talk about that real fast. I'm here to edge to Filbert's comments. Okay, Rufus. I mean, sounds a bit dirty, but hey. But yeah, D23 was on Friday. And if you're in my Discord, by the way, if you want to join the Discord, unfortunately, we had to lock it down because of, scammers slash bots slash spammers, whatever you want to, spammers, bots. So I was tired of cleaning that crap up. So If you're interested in joining the Discord, you have to email me, which is the name of this show, the name of the channel at Gmail. Order 42 show. Gmail. Send me an email. I'll send you an invite, and then you can come on in. I don't mind. It's gonna be fun. So yeah. But yeah, D23 was nuts. There was a lot of regular Disney stuff, you know. Of course, you got Incredibles 3 coming, which is exciting if you're an Incredibles fan. Frozen 3, if you're interested in that. There's a live action Tangled movie happening. But I mean, really the big stuff was, well, the Star Wars panel, or the Star Wars segment, I guess, was interesting. You have Ahsoka Season 2 trailer, which is actually pretty good. I was very kind of meh on Season 1. I don't know if you guys have been watching it or if you guys watched it, but I was kind of like, it's all right. Season 2 looks like a lot of action. So we'll see. We'll see about that one. And then they showed I would say kind of a teaser trailer for Star Wars Starfighter, which is directed by that guy, Sean Levy, and starring Ryan Gosling. And that comes out in May next year. So they showed it at D23, but they didn't put it online. They put the Ahsoka Season 2 trailer online, but not the Starfighter trailer. But guess what? Some people were filming and it made it online. So if you look around, you may be able to find it. It looks like, I mean, I'm kind of like, when it comes to IP, Star Wars is my first love, right? I love my Star Wars, right? This looked good. So I'm excited for that. Let's see. MCU. I mean, all the X-Men announcements were pretty nuts. We now have, of course, we had our Cyclops that had been announced previously. We had our, oh gosh, what's her name? I can see her face. Samara Weaving is the actress, but I can't remember the character. Help me out. What's the who's the? I can't remember her name. Oh God, what's her name? Who is Samara Weaving playing an X-Men? Emma Frost. Why couldn't I think of that? I knew that. So and of course we had, if you saw Spider-Man Brand New Day, you saw that Sadie Sink is Jean Grey. I mean, I think at this point, 2.5 weeks later, if you haven't seen it and you haven't heard about it already, well, there you go. And then of course they announced their Professor Xavier, which is Christopher Abbott, who the only thing I've ever seen him in was he was in that movie Wolfman from last year, which was kind of meh, but he was pretty good in it. So it'll be interesting. And then we got Indy Navarrete, fresh off of all this Obsession hype, is playing Rogue. We've got, I can't remember her name, but she's a theater actress. She's going to be playing Storm. And then we got the biggest news, the biggest pop, was that Adam Driver will be joining the MCU as Mr. Sinister. Very excited. Very excited. But that, I mean, honestly, the casting is not that big of a deal at this point. But as far as spoilers go, Filbert, I'm sorry if I spoiled something for you, but it has been 2.5 weeks at this point. And man, the news was everywhere. And let's be honest, once you saw Sadie Sink was going to be in Spider-Man Brand New Day, I mean, I think most people were like, okay, there's really two choices. It's going to be Jean Grey or it's going to be somebody that we don't know about. I think most people already knew. So anyway. So yeah, that's the X-Men stuff. And then of course they showed a new trailer for Avengers Doomsday, which was the exact same footage they showed at Comic-Con. So I had seen a grainy version of this footage. So to have it now in full 4K, man, cool trailer. Cool trailer. I'm sorry, Filbert. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to spoil it for anybody, but I mean it was part of the D23 thing. And if you sorry. Sorry. Um but hey, welcome Johnny Hell Promotions. Good to see you. Uh Apocalypse Apocalypse, hello. Good to see you. Of course, Ninjinzu. Filbert, yes, hi. So yeah. I mean, let's see what else. Oh, they did play the Vision Quest trailer, which Vision Quest supposedly, and this is something I didn't understand, was that Vision Quest is kind of like the third part of a story, starting with WandaVision, then Agatha All Along, then Vision Quest. I haven't seen Agatha All Along at all. So apparently there's going to be kind of a continuation of the story. But Vision Quest looks nuts. And there's been some people that have already seen it. And the word is this show is fantastic. Fantastic. You've got Paul Bettany, of course, returning as Vision. You have James Spader returning. I don't know how this is going to happen, but it's happening, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I think it's going to be really, really good. That comes out like October 14th, so we've only got a couple of months left for that. And yeah, there might have been something else, but that's kind of like the big news of D23. And I was going to do a video on it where I was just going to break everything down, but I mean, it's one of those things where, like, why? You know, there's so many people that are doing that right now, and honestly, if you're not one of the top news sites, it's just a lot of work for not a lot of. I don't know if it's probably that sounds very cynical of me to say, but it is. It would be a lot of work to put something like that together, and I know that it wouldn't do well on my channel. It just doesn't. The stuff like that never does well on my channel. So I don't know. And it's such a of the now kind of thing. Like if you look at my videos on my channel, like I said, I'm not trying to gripe at anybody or anything like that. But if you look at the videos on my channel, right? The kind of stuff that I do reviews, and I do every now and then I'll do like almost like an editorial. Like what's going on here with this? You know? And those are the kind of things that you can pretty much watch anytime. Like, I don't think anybody can look at the movie theater industry and go, yeah, they've got it all squared away. There's no opportunities for improvement. So yeah, if I talk about something about the movie theaters, it's probably going to be pretty timeless. News stuff, that's why I do it on the live stream, is because for you guys here now, right now, right this second, you may not know some of this stuff. So there you go. Johnny Hell said the upcoming Kingdom Hearts game is going to be amazing. Yes, that was part of the D23 thing too. Is that apparently Coco is going to be part of it? I got to be honest, I haven't seen Coco. But there's a Coco 2 on the way as well. But we also, unfortunately, got the news 2 days ago, I guess now, that unfortunately Hayden Panettiere, I'm not even sure how to say her last name, but she passed away. And that is just, I mean, that was like a what? She's 36 years old, you know, it was a shock to see. And of course, like for me, I think most people, I don't know. Is she best known for Heroes? Like to me, Heroes season 1 is one of the best like seasons of television, like ever. I was so into that show. And then Heroes season 2, wow, did it drop the ball. I can't even remember how long it went. I don't even know because I stopped watching it. I just wasn't for me. But yeah, Hayden Panettiere was Kyrie. I've never played Kingdom Hearts. I got to be honest. I've never played it. I don't know anything about it other than it's almost like a toy box made by Square Enix, right? So it's kind of a RPG, running around Sora with the big key sword thing. I don't know. I've seen things. I've just never played it. And yeah, Johnny Hell, yeah. Star Wars Galactic Racer. I mean, I don't know when that's coming out. I'm excited for it. Um, but I also feel like it's like a lot of racing games. It's like there's a time limit for how long I'm going to be excited for that. Like once I play through it, it'd be one of those things where I'm like, yeah, that was fun. But then I'll probably never, I know it's probably one of those things where, maybe there's more depth to it, but for the most part, it's like Mario Kart for me. Like I played the most recent Mario Kart for like a week and a half. And then I was like, okay, I've seen all this has to offer. Move on to something else. Mostly movies. I'm not a big gamer. Okay. Just yeah. But yeah, that's what I did. So I don't know. The Galactic Racer could be really cool. Hopefully there's a lot of depth to it and it can be one of those things that keeps you coming back, but I don't know. Ninjinzu said Emma Frost would be cool to see again. Yeah, and I think she's really good casting wise. And I really liked her in Ready or Not. So I know she can act. I know a lot of people were talking about Sydney Sweeney mainly because of two reasons. If you know what I mean. That's why they wanted to see her as Emma Frost. But the fact is, I got to be honest, man. Everything I've seen of Sydney Sweeney, I don't know how much depth she has as an actress. I just don't know. So I don't know. But I think Samara Weaving is she's got the goods when it comes to acting. So we'll see. But and Filbert, I do apologize. I guess it was just because it was plastered all over the internet that I just assumed that people would know at this point. But sorry. Sorry for ruining it if I ruined it for you. I hope I didn't. Honestly, it's one of those things where I knew it was coming, so it was like not a surprise to me, but anyway. Didn't ruin it for me. And yeah, Ninjinzu Vision Quest looks insane. It looks really, really cool. But it also looks insane. And Johnny Hell said, I'm here for Justin Yates, such a great, talented artist. Well, welcome, fellow fan. We shall get into it with Justin. And man, look, I'm not pulling any punches. All right. I'm going to ask the tough questions. Honestly, they're not that tough. But I am curious. There are definitely things that I'm curious about that I wanted to ask him about. So we shall see. We shall see how it goes. What did I just get here? What was it? Wait, what was this? What is this? Oh. Okay. Okay. Returning as human form too. Yeah, that's going to be really interesting. The whole concept is like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm down because, dude, as soon as they said Paul Bettany was going to be Vision back in the day, I was like, dude, awesome. I love Paul Bettany. Love Paul Bettany. I think he's so good. He's such a good actor. And so this is going to, it's an interesting way to, I guess, keep him out of the makeup chair. I mean, he's going to be in makeup for some of the stuff. But yeah, having him in human form is going to be really interesting. So we'll see. Is season 1 self-contained? Yeah, it kind of ends on a oh, what's going to happen? And then, like I said, season 2, it just kind of, it was at least for me, it was a pretty steep drop off, and I don't even know how much further it goes. Like, I have no idea. Like, I think, I want to say there was 4 seasons, but season 1 was really great. And it was like, to me, it reminded me of the same sort of thing of like, almost like Twin Peaks, where there was so much talk about Twin Peaks back in the day. And it became sort of a water cooler type of show. Now, I think these days, when you can just watch it straight through, it probably might not have the same impact, but man, people were talking about it. It's like, what's going to happen? Uh, I mean, it was cool. And it launched what's his name? He played what, Siler? Zachary Quinto. It launched his career. Because he was so enigmatic in Hero season 1 that it was like, wow, this guy's got a lot of talent. Wow, so much charisma. It was cool, man. It was really cool. And then, like I said, after that was kind of eh. It's an action RPG with Final Fantasy and Disney properties mashed together. There you go. Kingdom Hearts. Not awful, but I've never beat a single entry in the franchise. So maybe it is awful. I don't know. Filbert said, I played the first 2 Kingdom Hearts, but never could get into the story. Always felt written without a plan and made up on the spot. Yeah, and that's unfortunately a lot of games. But that's the thing, though. For a lot of games to be fun, they don't necessarily need a great story. And that's why it's so interesting when a video game property gets made into a movie. Is like, there's some people that are like, well, why isn't it just like the game? Well, because a game is 90% game and like 10% story for the most part. So that 10% story, in order to make it a movie where nobody's going through the motions and having, you know what I mean? It's like, you've got to have a really, really good, captivating story. So you can't just make a movie out of any video game, which is really interesting. I forgot about this when I was talking about movies coming this year. I'm really interested in Zach Kreger's version of Resident Evil, because he's like, I'm a big fan of the games and I want to tell a story in that universe, in that world. This movie is going to have no connection to the games. It's going to have no connection to the previous movies. It's literally just a story in that world. Now, I'm sure there's probably going to be some connective tissue there because it's part of the games. But man, that sounds really cool. Like, I like that somebody's like, yeah, I want to make a movie in that universe. I think that's cool. So I'm really excited. And plus, I think Zach Kreger. I think it's singular. It's not, there's not multiple Zach Kregers. I think it's Zach Kreger. Anyway, I'm really interested. I love the weapons. Barbarian was, it showed promise, but didn't come together for me. Weapons was pretty fantastic to me. So I'm really excited to see what Resident Evil is going to have for me. You know what I mean? Is it going to be good? Hope it's good. We'll see. Filbert said, I'm interested in Galactic Racer. I mean, I definitely want to play it. I don't know how many of you, I mean, gosh, these days, I don't even know if people were alive, when the original Racer game was out. But I played the crap out of that. And then it was one of those that to me, it fell off a cliff after about 10, 15 minutes. You know what I mean? It's like, it's one of those that, yeah, when you play it, it's fun, but then it immediately leaves your consciousness after. Like, the weird thing about a game like, for example, Breath of the Wild. The thing about Breath of the Wild is so many people were like, well, there's no story. There's no story in it. But for me, it was like, I kept thinking about the world. And there was storytelling in the way that the world was set up. And I love just getting lost in that world. I just don't know if they can make another game like that. Like, Tears of the Kingdom just didn't have everything that Breath of the Wild did. Which is weird because it's basically built off the same engine and everything. But it just didn't have it all for me. Breath of the Wild was one of those where it was so interesting that I kept thinking about it and kept wanting to play it for hours and hours and hours. And I think, it's my opinion, but I think Breath of the Wild is what they're basing this new movie on that's coming out next year. We'll see. I don't know, but it sure looks like it anyway. Ninjinzu said Galactic Racer apparently has no map direction in the races, having you make on-the-fly decisions on the race. Cool idea. Tired of the hand-holding in games. Okay, that could be really interesting. It's almost like, it's funny because I was listening to, I've talked about this before, and I think Bucho said something about it. He was like, it's like, oh, what do you listen to? Listen to Carl Sagan. The Demon Haunted World is what I've been reading or listening to, I guess, audiobook when I'm hiking and stuff. One of the things he was talking about is he was really irritated at like basically current science fiction is so dumb and not anywhere close to science, and it's just playing like, to me, when you're like adapting a movie or adapting a book into a movie, you can play pretty fast and loose with some of the details as long as you get the spirit of the story right. You can't really do that with science. You either care about like having science be done correctly or you don't. For example, Star Wars is clearly doesn't give a crap about science, like actual science. Okay? There's sound in space, all that kind. I mean, there's many reasons. Some of the physics is a little wonky, but one of the things he brought up was the idea of the parsecs, the Kessel Run. Well, I did it in 12 parsecs, and it makes it sound like a unit of time. Now, of course, Lucas went back and changed that where it's basically a smuggling run where you've got to deliver stuff where things are on the move. And if you did it in 12 parsecs, that meant you made all your deliveries in less than 12, a unit of distance, not a unit of time. Anyway, the point is, what I'm trying to say is that this is a neat idea because it could be that the end point is constantly changing. And so you've got to make decisions on how you're going to get there. That's a cool idea. I like that a lot. So we'll see. We shall see. Rufus said his buddy named his kid Siler. Wow. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff like that, like, I grew up with a kid named Chewbacca. I'm just kidding. Wouldn't that suck? Hey, Chewie, get over here. Ooh, he's like, damn it. And welcome, Lou. He said, have you ever strained your calf muscle? I feel like an old man. I've never strained my calf muscle, Lou. But apparently I have injured my sciatic nerve. So, and I'm still working on that. So yes, I get exactly what you're saying. That you feel like, especially when you're walking around and you're all like, oh God, oh God. You know what I mean? I get that. I get it. I love the arcade game at Chuck E. Cheese. So sick. Oh yeah, the racer game was freaking cool, man. By the way, just to let you know, we've only got a couple minutes. We've only got a couple of minutes left on the liquid tasting. Because at 7:45, we're going to choose a liquid and we're going to try it. So right now, Swiss Cake Roll is in first place. So get those last minute votes in. You better do it, or, whatever, things are going to happen. And you'd be like, I didn't get the vote. Well, sorry. But hey, also, let me tell you this. Just to remind everybody, coming up at 8, around 8, hopefully maybe a little bit before, it's up to him, really. But Justin's going to call, and we're going to bring him in, and we're going to do sort of like an interview type thing. And then around 9 p.m., we're going to continue the stream as normal, but he's going to be along for the ride. So basically, I've only got really one big news item to cover, and I'm actually kind of curious if Justin will have anything to say on that. And then also, we've got things to show off. He said that he's got some things that he just got in. I've got some things that I just got in. So should be fun. So just to let you know, here in about 15 minutes, we'll have Justin in, and then I'll ask him questions. And it's going to be fun. Hopefully it'll be fun. So yeah. And Chris, hello Chris, and I see Squiggles there. Hello Squiggles. I hope you're doing well. And Chris said, I'm also very interested in Galactic Racer. Yeah, see, I hadn't looked up anything else on it. So it's very interesting to hear that the end point may be changing. That's a cool idea. I like that. And it also could, I guess that could mean that races could go on for longer than originally planned because nobody's gotten to the finish line yet. That could be really cool. That could be really cool. And look at that. Look at that. I guess Swiss Cake Roll is going to win. It's 7:45. Chris said Kessel Run was one of my favorite scenes in Solo. I mean, look, I know that Solo gets a lot of hate because it's like, that's not Harrison Ford. That's not my Han Solo. I mean, I get it. I understand. But it's a fun movie. And I think Alden Ehrenreich did a fantastic job making that like it was clearly Han Solo, but at the same time, he made the role his own. And he actually made me kind of forget that, yeah, you could probably have de-aged Harrison Ford or whatever, but no, man, this was great. I enjoyed Solo a lot. And if you haven't seen Solo for whatever reason, and you're a Star Wars fan, and you were like, I'm not gonna watch Solo, just give it a shot, keep an open mind, and just say, hey, this is a fun movie. Just watch it and just try to enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. And I love that scene. Dude, I'll tell you, in the theater, because I saw it opening night, right? Didn't have any expectations. I thought it was gonna suck, honestly. I went into it going, this is gonna suck. And I just said, you know what? I'm here for a good time. Show me a good time. And you know what? I came out of there going, you know what? I think it was my favorite movie at that point. It was my favorite movie in the Disney era, not area. It continues to be the best experience as I was walking out of the theater. Solo. Who knew? To me, it was better than Rogue One. I have my problems with Rogue One. I love Andor. I think Andor did Rogue One a big service because you're already invested in one of the characters now, because of Andor. Andor's amazing. But Rogue One was just kind of like, it's fine. It's fine. But Solo, I just had a really good time. I had a really good time. But there you go. So you loved Swiss Cake Rolls as a kid? Me too. Me too. And that's what won. You guys chose it. And it's the Ho Ho Ho. There you go. 3 milligram from Lady Liberty Liquids. And you know what that means? I got to do this. Because we're about to go. That's right. Yeah. I will say this. One of my hesitations on this is that a lot of chocolates end up tasting okay, but smelling awful. Like, there was one that I got, this was years ago, but it was supposed to be a chocolate. You know those like those little Hostess or Mrs. Baird's or whoever, those little donuts that are like this big and they're like come in a bag. You know what I'm talking about? There's powdered donuts. Sometimes there's cinnamon donuts, but these were like the chocolate cake. It was like a chocolate coating on these little donuts. I hope you know what I'm talking about. That's what this liquid was supposed to be. And to me, it tasted spot on, which I kind of like those as a kid. They're not, I mean, especially now, if you eat them, you're kind of like, these aren't really that good, but they're kind of good, Yeah, this was a spot on mini chocolate donut flavor. It was amazing. But April said it almost made her throw up to smell it. And I took one hit of it. This was back when I worked for this marketing company. And they actually allowed me to vape in there. And this was before I was doing like these huge clouds. So I was, not setting off the smoke alarm and stuff. But I took a vape on it and people were like, what the hell is that? They were freaking out. They were like, this smells awful. So I said, okay, I'm not vaping this anymore in here. And I would only vape it at home when she wasn't in the room because she hated it that much. So this could be one of those situations where it could be so awful to smell, just like, I don't know. Okay, just smelling it, it kind of smells like almost if you, okay, I don't know if you guys had this as a kid, but every now and then we wouldn't get like Hershey's syrup, but we would get Hershey's cocoa that you would just spoon out and put in milk and spit. I don't know if anybody, I don't even know if that's available anymore. I haven't bought chocolate milk in, like, seriously, I haven't had chocolate milk like that in like 40 years. But anyway, it smells like you just popped open one of those things where it's almost like a little canister. You know what I mean? With a little, and you took your spoon and you just popped the metal tab or metal, you know what I'm talking about, right? Here, let's see. I'm just curious. Okay, no, they do, but it looks like it's in a plastic metal can. Um Wait, I have to wait. How am I going to do this? Can I do this? Oh, it's not working. It's not working because I've set it up for Justin. Dang it. But yeah, it's like a little metal can. Let me see if I do this. And then if I do this. Yeah. You see that? So it's kind of like a metal thing up top. So if you can imagine having one of those, I mean, I'm sure the new ones with the plastics is fine. But let me remove that. Get out of here. Get out of here. That's what it smells like. So we'll see. Let's put the liquid on first. And you know what? There's also a recipe that I got is when I first started mixing liquids. And it was supposed to be a chocolate milk flavor. And it was also, it smelled really good to me. But then April was like, you can't vape that here. You can't do it. And I'm like, okay. So this might be another one where I have to wait till she's gone to vape it. So turning that on, putting a little liquid on. I think this is going to be one she's going to hate. I almost want to ask her. I almost want to take this in here and ask her. Oh, I didn't do. I haven't done that yet. Let's do it. Let's do it. I don't know if you. Yeah, you can see it. Weird. It tastes like you squirted some Hershey syrup in your face. I mean, not like in your, you know what I mean? Like in your mouth. This could be really good. Or it could be terrible. That's the thing, man. You never know. You never know these days. So, here we go. Here we go. Nice, nicely, clean tank. Bleh. And then you can kind of see, there you go. It meets on the other side. And then all the way to the top. All the way to the top. I don't know why I said it like that. So here we go. Here we go. You guys chose it. And you chose it quickly. That's the important thing. Is that you chose it quickly. It's ready to go. 75 watts. Fully charged battery. Here we go. Hold on. Let me take a little drink. Usually a tea or coffee will help the taste buds get like reset. I have to say that first toot, that first hit, whatever you want to call it, it's a little harsh. But I will tell you, I don't know if you remember last week, we tried the cream cheese Danish. Remember, I was like, man, this is really harsh. And then I had to rebuild it. After I rebuilt it, man, it tasted great. And it wasn't as harsh. I wonder if this one just needs some time to mellow out a little bit. But we'll see. Just give me a second. Okay, that one tasted really good. That hit tasted really nice. Like really nice. I don't know if it tastes like I mean, it kind of does taste like a Swiss cake roll. But it also just kind of tastes like Hershey's syrup, which is not bad. But it's a weird, you'd kind of hope, you'd either want more of a milk flavor or you'd want more of like a cakey kind of, I don't know how you'd pull that off in a vape. Like what is like if you, I don't know, maybe made Swiss cake roll into a powder and then you sniffed it, what would that taste like? I don't know. Like you kind of, I feel like you need like a whipped cream or something. I don't know. I don't get that. I just get, it's just chocolate. It's just chocolate. It's really good though. It's really good. I have a feeling that April's going to be like, you can't vape that near me. That's horrible. It's horrifying. Because that's what she sounds like when she's complaining about stuff. Don't ask me. Don't ask me. But good choice, guys. Good choice. Swiss cake roll or ho ho ho. I'm guessing this was they probably did this as a, ho 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 hostess, maybe, or maybe it was actually a Christmas flavor that they just decided to keep year round. All I know is it tastes great. It honestly just tastes like, it just tastes like, it just tastes good. I don't know what to tell you. It tastes awesome. Ricky, welcome. That's a lie. I didn't choose that, so don't say I did. Well, I'm sorry. I love those little mini donuts. Haven't had them in years. Yeah, I tried them not too long ago. I got them. This was back when I was going through all my stuff, all my whatever, and I could only eat like little things. I was like, I want some little chocolate cake donuts. And so April bought me a bag of them, and I ate like, like over a few days. I had like 4 or 5 of them, and then I was just like, I don't really like this. And then she tried them. She's like, these aren't good. She goes, I like the powdered ones better. And I'm like, yeah, I gotta agree. The powdered ones are better. So that may be one of those things that, just like I remember I went to Dairy Queen and got their chicken fingers once because I was feeling nostalgic for that chicken finger kind of flavor that they used to have. Not good. They were not tasty. Like they weren't like, what you get at Whataburger or Sonic or anywhere else. It just wasn't tasty. So I don't know. I'm reminded of a Dane Cook joke about Ovaltine he probably stole. It's possible. It's possible. You know what? There's it was actually one of my favorite switched on clips from back in the day is from a Dane Cook joke. Because I'm like, it's some joke about, do you ever point at a menu, like go into a fast food place, and you point and you order something that's not on the menu, and then the person's like what did I say? Give me a 6-pack. I said give me a 6-pack of chicken nips, and they're like, I don't know. Anyway, Lou said, "Forgive me, I'm dumb when it comes to vapes. Does that stuff have nicotine or is it just flavors?" This one is nicotine powered. It does have nicotine in it, but it's a very very low. Like 3 milligrams is typically the lowest nicotine that you can get in a commercially available whatever. Now, if you do DIY, which means I do some of that. You can make it you can say, I want 2.6. And you put it in your little calculator and it tells you exactly. I hear Justin calling. Hold on a second. There he is. All right, give me just a second, Justin. I'm gonna fix all the stuff. I'll be right back. Okay? Be right back. And hey, we're doing the thing now. Okay, so Justin is here, and there he is. Looky here, and
Hey,
hey, look at what he's promoting. He's promoting rufusthered.com. Look at that.
I just thought I'd wear. This is one of my favorite shirts. I love this shirt. I thought I would wear it tonight. Do you know rufusthered.com? He's all over the internet. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him or not, but you should check him out if you get a chance.
Sorry, you were doubled there. Your audio was doubled there for a second. Sorry, I had to fix that. But we're good. We're good now.
So you know rufusthered.com also?
That's
pretty crazy.
I do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's good to see.
Yeah.
How's it going, Rob?
It's going all right, Justin. It's good to see you. So why are we here?
To hang out, to say hello to people, to promote a new album, to say thanks for having me on. I know you haven't had guests in a while, and I went back and looked at some of your guests and was like, wow, I'm really stoked to be asked to come on and hang out and chat, and that's awesome. So you're awesome. So that's what we're doing today. We're talking about how awesome Rob is.
I don't know about that. I appreciate that. I this is something that I told you weeks ago when we first started talking about this, was that I love to do interviews. I mean, it's one of my favorite things to do. What I don't like is chasing people down and trying to get them to commit and all that kind of stuff. You're like, I mean, you just tell me when to be on and I'll be on. I'm like, that's what I want. But most of the time it was like, hey, like in text or whatever, I'd be like, hey, I did this, like I called them or something. Anyway, I'd be like, hey, when are you gonna, we're gonna be on in like 2 hours. And they're like, oh, I'll be there in 3 hours. Well, what do I do now? I mean, like, you know what I mean? And it's like, I have a weekly stream that I got to do. I don't have to do anything, but anyway. And look at there's Ms. Moon is here. Welcome, Ms. Moon.
Wow, we got a celebrity in the chat.
I know, Filbert's here. I mean, it's
awesome.
I mean,
hey everyone.
This is going to be good. This is going to be good. So
it's funny you say that about the timing with things. I worked in radio for 7 years and dealing with local bands, because that's what we did. We did like local music.
Right.
It was the worst for scheduling, and that's all I did. And I didn't mind it. It was okay. I was pretty strict with people, but I mean, I'd have to do that all the time. So whenever I have the opportunity of doing this, or I do an interview for a website that I do, I try to be as accommodating as I possibly can, because I know it can just be annoying, problematic. It can just stink. And I don't know, I'm a very small fish in a big sea. So I have a lot of appreciation, and I don't know, a lot of appreciation for somebody who's going to take 2 seconds out of their day to check out what I do. The least I can do is be accommodating, not call 2 hours beforehand and be like, I'm stuck in traffic or something. I'll try my best to plan ahead.
It wasn't even that though. Most of the time it was like, hey, I know we're doing the thing tonight. I decided to drive to Oklahoma, and it's like, what are you doing?
My girlfriend wants to go on a date, so I'm going to have to reschedule 30 minutes beforehand or something.
It was really weird. And you can actually, if you look at the weeks, right? Because I mean, I was doing them weekly there for a while. You can tell when I didn't have a guest, because it would either be Jim or Jay, or, you know what I mean? Like people that I knew that were going to be around. And they would I'll be like, hey, do you want to come on tonight? Yeah, sure. And so I would do that. So it just got old. It got old chasing people down, but I do enjoy doing it. So first, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. First,
Sure.
I want to mention a couple things. Number one, um, the chat. If you have a question for Justin, I want you to at me in the chat and ask your question. Of course, if it's a suitable question, not, hey, you know, do you still have both your testicles? Like, that's not the kind of question we need to actually, there we go. We already answered that one. But you know what I mean? Like, a question. If you have a question for Justin, I would love for you guys to take part. But otherwise, I've got questions. And I know he's got answers. By the way, let me just show this off. This is his latest album. Tell Me Something Great.
Woo.
So that's the thing. This is kind of why we're here, but also I've got that, which is a lovely little package there. I also have yeah, which is upside down, but hey, oops, and almost popped out. One of the little
That darn physical media.
yeah, one of those little spindle things broke, so it doesn't.
Oh no.
I mean, that's just a thing that happens with these. If you've owned a CD before, you've seen that. But yeah, it's cool, man. And of course, I got my Justin Yates shirt on, so yeah. But also,
I appreciate the support, Rob. I really do.
yeah, you can see kind of down, it's kind of hard to do that, but there's justinyates.com. And of course, if you scan that, if you're watching this on a TV, you can scan that QR code and it'll go to justinyates.com, and you can peruse at your leisure. And of course, there's probably the things in the the events in the chat that will automatically pop up every now and then and say, hey, go to Justin's website, damn it. So there you go. And yes,
Check
I
it out.
do. Miss Moon, I do support physical media. Yes.
There's some cool stuff on the website though. If you guys get if you check it out on a computer, there's a game
computer?
in the fun. I know a lot of people are probably on their phones right now, but
Oops.
there's a game in the fun section you can download. There's like wallpapers and tons of videos, and there's other links to like other stuff that I do as well too.
There we
And
go.
what is that? Paramount? What?
Yeah, sorry, the Paramount thing came up for a second. But yeah, here's the website that you can, the Justin Yates website. But it's got all of the, I mean, look, there's so much stuff, so much information here, especially if you want to kind of dig into Justin. There's a lot of stuff here. There's, of course, his shop is there. You've got the Team Oral. We might go into that a little bit later. And then the BPD bunch is down there at the end too. So, I mean, look, there's just a lot of stuff to look at. So that is a thing as well. So there you go. JustinYates.com.
I know it's not as cool as Instagram or TikTok, but I still think websites are cool.
No,
so
websites are awesome because
check it out.
they're not limited to, just, I don't know. I'm not a big, but so let's get into this. Why don't we? Since we're already 10 minutes in and I haven't asked a single question yet.
That's okay.
What would you say, like, what kind of music is your music? I would like to hear your I told you my explanation of it. I'd like to hear your explanation of it. And then who would you say are your biggest influences?
This music that I'm making under this name, when anyone asks me, I just tell them kind of like singer-songwriter, acoustic instrumental music. I think that's the best way to describe it. Though this new album is, I think it would be appropriate to say it's more like acoustic pop rock kind of genre. And even your opinion when you sent me your kind of small review on the album when you first got it, you were like, I hear a lot of John Mayer influence, and a lot of what I did was influenced by John Mayer for a long time, and he is a big influence of mine. I would say that some of the influences that I think I pull in, it's a hard question to answer because I was a metalhead for years, and if you listen to some of my earlier music, you can hear bits and pieces of that, like kind of sneaking through in some of the instrumentals. So I'm pulling from progressive technical death metal on one side of the spectrum to listening to religious bluegrass of Still and Nickel Creek, things of that nature, to The Devil Makes Three, to other acoustic bass projects. So I'm listening to all kinds of stuff. And throughout the years, I've done things like you can find singles I've done online that are more like metal or like um, kind of like electronic type music to all different types of stuff. So I'm kind of all over the place. And this day and age, I'm still listening to music in a bubble. I think I've officially gotten old. So I'm still looking for new stuff, but a lot of those things are still being I don't know, still played on the jukebox regularly. Like I listen to Punch Brothers a lot, which is a Chris Thile band who he was affiliated with Nickel Creek. I really, really enjoy that. So yeah.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. And I mean, yeah, that definitely. I mean, especially the I guess that I would say like more early John Mayer is what I hear. But also there's you've got some laid back tracks too that definitely sound like, you know, more jazzy or bluesy in a way, which is kind of cool. So yeah, I mean, that's cool.
I try to lean away from the white guy with an acoustic guitar like vibe as much as I can, even though I know I kind of fall into that category if you get that joke. But I do try to spice it up as much as I can. I'm not the best singer or guitar player, but I try to bring something authentic to the table with the lyrical content and try my best to try to push the instrumentals as much as I can. I throw a lot away when I'm writing, but the stuff that I keep there, I'd like to pull from different genres. Like on this new album, Tip Your Bartender is definitely more of like a jazz influence type of tune. And on that second album, like the song California is like completely finger tapped. And so that's totally different. But yeah, it's funny when you say the John Mayer thing, because that's a comparison I get a lot. And to me, it's I laughed when you said like, "Wow, this reminds me of Room for Squares." And when I was writing all the bass parts for the new EP, like that's exactly where I was pulling from. And for years, like that album, Heavier Things Continuum, like those had a lot of plays, and I know that kind of seeped through, and was kind of the style that I wanted to play with. But I think that the songs kind of took a life of their own as we went
Mhm.
into the recording process. So I hope they have enough of their own flavor and not just having the influences just kind of overwhelm the songs, you know?
Well, I can tell from, I mean, because again, I've been, I'm old now, so I've listened to a bunch of stuff, and I can tell listening to Room for Squares and Heavier Things, you can hear there's actually some video game music kind of some of his bass lines almost sound like Metroid to me. And then I hear The Police. The Police was very and which says a lot about me, I think too, because I'm a huge Police fan. Huge. I love The Police. I love Sting. Uh Even as a young kid. So that kind of strict chord structure and song structure was always something that I I it was cemented in my brain. So when I would hear someone reference that in a song, like John Mayer would do, it'd be like, I see you, I know what you're doing. So it's kind of like it was cool to hear. It was almost like layers of influence in a way, in a weird kind of way. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah.
No, it definitely does. And Mayer does a good job at doing that from pulling from Stevie Ray Vaughan to Sting to a number of different musicians.
Yeah.
And it's funny because in later albums from John Mayer, like John Mayer Trio, Pino Palladino, who plays bass on there, the bass is in the mix and directly up and in your face, which is great. But those earlier albums, because they're so far away from something like The Police, they're more pop driven. The bass is buried so much in the
Mhm.
mix that you almost don't really give it that much of a chance. But if you sit and you listen, or you have a nice system where you can EQ that bass, some of that bass on the first album is all over the place. It's like shocking how busy the bass is. And it's a really huge credit to their mix engineers to be able to have it sit in there and play a part, but not be as intrusive as like a lead bass part, but still it's it creates such a fun atmosphere for these acoustic pop songs that really have a lot of longevity when you go back and listen, and you can pull different parts out of it again and again, opposed to some pop songs which are very just chord progression heavy, something of the sort, or a bass player that's just following the chords. These ones are a lot more really interesting bass lines, and I think his bass player on those first couple albums really don't get the credit that's due, other than in the world of bass players who are always like, dude, these are monster albums if you actually listen to it, which is cool. So that's a really huge compliment when you listen to that and you're like, dude, this reminds me of that. I'm like, all right, cool. The idea that I was trying
Yeah.
to pull from came across, somebody heard it instantly. That's awesome. You know what I'm saying?
Cool. By the way, Filbert does have a question. He says, Justin, kiss, Mary, kill, Filbert, Robin, Game Dave.
Duh. Oh, Rob game. Wow. I don't know. I don't know them all super personally, but I think I might have to marry Filbert because it seems like even in our short conversations that there is some sort of parallel. Like I think if we both went to college together, we would be hanging out in the same circles. What are my choices? Kill, kiss,
Kiss, Mary, kill. Yeah.
yeah. I think. Yeah, Dave's got the swagger, so I think you're gonna get the knife, and I think I'll have to go with kissing
I
Dave.
mean,
Sorry,
I
I saw his moves in all those Jackie Chan videos. I can't not see that now.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, right. And also, I'm the oldest, so I would probably die first anyway. So it's probably, yeah.
So you can hang out for a while; it'll just happen.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. Also, I just wanted to highlight this. I like
Hilarious.
this. Miss Moon said, Justin's playing technique is clean, great control of the acoustics from what I've heard so far. I mean, I'd say
Hey,
that's a pretty good compliment right there, you know?
thank you,
So,
Miss Moon. Thank you very much.
and KP Senti, I will get to your question after I ask my next question, which would be, when you're writing songs and you're putting together an album, do you
Mhm.
have, like, I know that when I was writing, it was just whatever I was doing. I didn't have a theme or anything that I was working toward. Is that something that you consciously work toward? Is a theme, or are you just, hey man, whatever I'm thinking about and whatever I'm feeling right now, this is what I'm gonna write about?
That's a really loaded question. So I'll try to be as quickly as I can, or as quick as I can with that. If I'm working for a paid project, or I'm working with somebody in a collaborative way, which I don't really do too much these days, just because I've spread myself so thin across the board. So unless it's a paying gig, it's just kind of like what it is. When that happens, my mind kind of goes to more the textbook side, and it kind of goes to serving the song, serving the person, trying to bring what I can with what I have, and trying to help compose something that is serving as much as it possibly can. So whatever that is, I try to bend. Um, I try to be as versatile as I can. But with the music that you brought up and the CDs over here, this music, gosh, this is a long story. It comes from an emotional place. It comes from some place in me. I went through a whole bunch of life altering events, which really sparked the idea for the first album, and the whole album is about a lot of those events. But making that conscious choice, it made me say that I don't want to write music from any other place other than that emotional core that I was able to tap into. Not only for what it did to me therapeutically, but I was able, those songs resonated with people in a way that started having people cover my music in like Malaysia, had people in Australia getting like my monkey tattooed like on their body. Like it took the songs and affected people in a way where I was like, this is crazy. And that's awesome. But I knew that it was not only the way that I could connect with people, which I have a hard time doing, but also it was like, I don't want to write music from anywhere else because again, I'm not the best guitar player. I'm not the best singer. I don't have any preconceived notions that I am. But what I can do is at least show up authentically. So when I am writing songs, I try to tap into that and sometimes I'll have a central idea, like with the first album. The second album, my body broke down and I was basically isolated in an apartment for a long time. And you can hear desperation, you can hear struggle, you can hear frustration. All of that went into a lot of those songs and it bounced to some ideas. And this last album is really what I'm going through in the past few years, and it's more about mental health. So I guess I'll get an idea and then start writing around where those things are. Like right now, is it handy? It's not handy. Maybe it's handy. Hold on. No, it's not. Like right now, I've been in therapy, like hardcore, for over like 3 years, dealing with a bunch of different things. And I have like a notebook with a whole bunch of ideas. And I know in the back of my head that when I sit down, this next album's going to be called Therapy, or it's going to be called Rebirth, or something along those lines. Like I can already feel it. I know where it's going to come from. So when I sit down, I'm subconsciously already thinking, I'm already in that place, and I'll be pulling for there. But one song might be about this topic or about this topic, but the through line will be there. I hope I answered that as succinctly as I possibly can.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because I mean, I find it interesting because the way that when I was writing, actually writing lyrics, it was literally just whatever I was feeling at the moment. And I know what you're talking about, where you kind of get into it's almost like you get into a Zen, at least me. I got into like this Zen mode and I would write, but it would usually come from like a very strong emotion. And then I realized that when I met my wife, that went away. And I didn't have that core, the pain or the anxiety or
Mhm.
whatever I was dealing with. It wasn't there anymore. So it was like, what do I write about? Puppies and rainbows? Like it was weird, but I just couldn't
That
write lyrics anymore.
that's a really interesting topic because they talk about that where they say, they always say that about comedians, where it's like, there's comics and comedians, if you understand the difference between the two, and they always say to be a true comedian, you have to like have struggle and you have to know that. And it's like, do you actually have to do that? And some people subscribe to that, like thought that it's like pain and struggle makes good art. Other people are just like, I can just make good art. And it's a huge debate within like the creative world. So I know exactly what you're talking about. But an example, writing lyrics is interesting for me because sometimes I'll try to find like a rhyme scheme, or I'll have an idea and I'm able to kind of like stretch it out or outline it and skeleton it in some way. But in this latest CD, like the song Games Up, I fought myself for the better part of 5 years to write that song. I knew exactly what the song was about. And because I write from this honest place, I didn't want to write it. I didn't want to sing the song. I didn't want to accept what it was. I I just fought it. And then when I was made the decision that I'm like, this is the idea, this is what I want to do, the new album that is, and what songs are going to make it. That's the first thing that's just eating at me. I sat down and I knew what it was going to be. I wrote the song in 15 minutes and it was done. And it just came out. And what you're talking about is that flow state of where you can tap into exactly where it is. And once it goes, it just comes right out of you. And that's when you hear a lot of people say they'll credit it to a lot of different things, but it's almost as if it's flowing through you rather than coming from you at that point. And so, yeah, it's I felt that a number of times, but that song Games Up was definitely like that.
Okay, I have multiple questions based on what you just said. Uh
All right.
because okay, just real quick, that same kind of state that I could not get in when I was writing
Mhm.
the kind of songs that I was writing, I can get into that when I'm writing my new book, you know? So it's very cool when it happens. And it doesn't always happen, but when it does, it's like super cool. So anyway, so that's a good thing that zen state, you don't have to be in pain to reach that zen state. At least that's what I figured out. But here's my question. When you write your music, or when you're saying, I don't even know how, I want to know how it starts for you. For me, it very much came from the lyrics. Lyrics came first, then the music. Sometimes the music would come first and then the lyrics would come to match the music. But that was very rare for me. So I'm kind of curious from your point of view, is your music lyric driven or what? How does it work? How does it work for you?
Well, just to hammer down on that last point, Stephen King talks about wanting to write every single day. And it's working that muscle constantly so that you're in the zone and you give yourself the opportunity. So when those moments of inspiration truly come, you'll be able to tap it. But that is a huge investment in time and can get unbelievably exhausting. And unless you're finding a way to make it financially feasible, I don't know about you, but I do not have the mental bandwidth to be able to work 3 jobs a day. I fail at what I'm doing right now, doing the job of 10 men with the faculties of less than 1 man. So it's weird, but there is ways to like fuel that. But if you have passion that might not be in one avenue, but you can tap into it in another, it shows you that that light is still burning within you, which is really awesome. But to answer your question, it really depends because I've had some times where I sit down and if I'm working with somebody, they'll be like, here's the key signature we're in. Let's work on the instrumentation first. And that just dictates like what we're doing. Other times it's like I have this idea of a theme in my head, and that is motivating everything that I'm doing. And I'll start thinking about melody lines or thinking about lyrics, or I'll think about one phrase or something, and that'll constantly keep running in my head, and that'll force what's going on. But I would say most of the time, it's writing the music first and then writing lyrics to it second. And I think that's because I'm not that strong of a singer. Um, if I if I was a stronger singer, I think I would be able to write the melodies first and be very comfortable where my voice sat, and then write guitar parts to fit that. But I've always done it the other way around, and I think that comes from a metal background, writing riffs. I write this riff, and then I'm going to write this riff, and then this riff, and then it's stacking and layering on top of it. So I think, though I can skin a cat a few ways, that's my preferred method to skin the cat, as weird as an analogy as that is.
Gotcha. I find it I find it interesting because like I said, it was what are you looking at? What'd you see?
Bucho's comment, I would start with dance moves first, then the music, then merch, then the lyrics.
Yeah, I mean that's Bucho for you. But no,
Hilarious.
I just find that interesting because there was one song that I wrote that is kind of like what you said, where it was almost like I wasn't writing it. And it came out in a almost I mean almost perfect. I was reading a lot of Shakespeare at the time. So
Mhm.
iambic pentameter and all that kind of stuff, right? It was perfect. 5 5 5 7. 5 5 5 7. So it was like it had that rhythm and it was really weird. So it went from pentameter to whatever septameter, whatever it is. Anyway, it was cool the way that it worked. And I'm like, wow, this is a really nice poem. Can I put this to music? And then all of a sudden music happened and it was just weird. But anyway, we're not
It
talking about
can happen. It can happen that way, or you'll get a melody line in your head, or you'll get a rhythmic syncopation of speaking in a way that flows like this, and then you're doing something, it goes like that, and then you keep following that over, and then
right.
it's this snowball effect. I know that this next CD, there are so many lines in here that those will probably motivate me first, but I still know that it's all going to come together like a giant snowball, but or a giant avalanche or whatever. But I think the lyrical content and the idea of what I want to do, like if I want to do an EP, if I want to do full band again, if I want to do something, that will come into my head to at least give the parameters of, the canvas. Okay, this is what I'm painting within. And then it's like, what colors am I working with? Well, the colors are in here. I already know that the colors are in here.
Hmm.
Okay, then I have that to work with. And then from there, then I can kind of refine and fine tune and things like that. I hope that makes sense.
No, yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, you were talking about how it's something that I experienced too. Yeah, Rufus, freaking rufusthered.com. It's something that I experienced a little, but I never got to the point where I was playing shows. I was literally
Mhm.
playing for friends and whatever, right? Girlfriends and such. But I
Your
found,
girlfriend at the beach,
yeah,
serenading her
well,
with
not.
your harmonica and lyrics.
I
Just
lived in
kidding.
Grand Prairie, Texas. There's no freaking beach anywhere to be seen. But anyway, I knew that like what would end up happening is that they would want to hear specific songs or stuff that they'd heard before or what, you know what I mean? And I would play it, but for me, it would almost be looking like it was almost like looking at an old picture of me. you know? And it would be like,
Mhm.
yeah, that's I remember what I was feeling when I wrote that, but I don't feel that
Mhm.
anymore. Is it the same for you, or do you like when you're playing live, do you is it like you're living that emotion again?
I just did an interview with, another mental health, like, based website. It should be out, I think, later on this week. So check out the website, whatever. I'll have that posted up. But they asked somewhat of the same question, and the shortest answer is I've been playing like that first album has been out for a decade, which is crazy to even think because I'm such a small fish that people have not heard it. It's weird. I hate the internet. But um you would think that all the time away from the events that occurred and when I wrote it and playing it across the country, hundreds of shows over and over, that I would be desensitized. And parts of it I am, but because of what happened that motivated the songs and what I'm tapping into, it's it's really weird because some of the disorders that I have, it triggers those things, and it becomes almost like a masochistic type thing because when I'm playing the songs, they become re-traumatic because I'm going back there. And as much as I play and as much as there's aspects of it that are desensitized, there's giant portions of it that aren't. And if I allow myself to go to those places, it makes for a really good show because people are like, "Wow, I could feel that," or "Wow, I could see that." And it takes a lot out of me. And I think that is difficult, and it's something that I still have, after all this time, a hard time holding. But I think that my ability to still tap into there and bring those emotions still into the music and have that almost like I don't know if it's, angst or what's the right word that's in it. I think that's what I'm bringing to the table. That level of authenticity that's bringing there. It's not the guitar playing, it's not the singing. There's way better singers out there, but that thing becomes undeniable. And some people will see it and they'll be like, and I've had people say this before where they're like, dude, I loved your new CD, but I can't listen to it all the time because it makes me feel a certain way. And I take that as a compliment because that's great, but they also can't always meet me in that level of attunement where the emotional core is when other people hear it and they see me in it, and that connection becomes like a visceral thing. And those connections are the reason that I would still be broke and struggle for so long to do this because that's how I connect with people, and it's intense. So I hope over time I can get more comfortable with doing that, but I would be lying to say that it's not still twisting the knife at times.
Well, it sounds like well, number 1, it sounds like my experiences were much they're more base level experiences. You're writing from a deeper place, so it's almost like you're accessing open wounds or freshly healed wounds versus something that just it happened. You know what I mean? But I find that I don't know. I just find that whole thing kind of interesting because I mean I've heard Trent Reznor talk about that where it's like wow, it's so weird how of course he's much older than either one of us and he's been playing for many 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 years. But he talks about how he said it's so weird to have these people singing lyrics back to you that meant so much to me at the time is what he would say, and it's like so yeah, he's definitely but of course, he went through his own therapy and his own levels of struggle with his own demons, you know what I mean? So it's just
Well,
I don't
I
know, I
I
just find
also
that
think
interesting.
being a multimillionaire probably affords him a life to being able to be comfortable and to have the time to be able to heal and to work through things and have avenues that maybe you and I don't have the luxury of doing. So that's and essentially comparing apples to oranges in some degree, you know what I mean? But yeah, it is weird to have people sing those things back to you, and it's a whole other level of having that I don't know, having that connection with something that you aren't living in necessarily now, but are still connected with in some ways. And I think you hit the nail on the head where, and this is something I ramble about for a while, so I'm trying to condense this, but like if I didn't do that first album, I would have been in a really bad place. And when I wrote that album, I was institutionalized. I went through a lot, and that was a catalyst of changing the course of my life. And so tapping into those things are huge. And I remember when I was figuring out, like, what am I going to call this? How am I going to market this? What am I going to do? And the conversations came up with some people that I was friends with at the time, where they're like, oh, you can call it like the red balloon or like this, whatever. And I was like, I need to call this like what I am, because that's much different. It isn't just like I'm writing songs about a coffee cup or something like that. And I need that to be known. Like, I want that to be known. Which some people will say that that's horrible. When you listen to like Weezer talk about their first album and how the studio, completely ruined it. And they were like, these are our babies, and the songs were things that we care about, and it just got completely ruined. And then they started writing these cornball pop songs, and they're like, yeah, I'm never going to write anything that I really care about ever again. I was the complete opposite way. I was like, I don't care. I need to write these things and still give them up to the world, but I need to have something coming from my core and not just something topical or something just, I don't know, simple. There's too much of that out there. I want to be able to give a piece of myself, not just be another bit of the white noise being plastered at you every 2 seconds on the internet, which I hope that I do. I probably don't, but at least I'm aspiring to trying to do that.
It just reminds me of there was a song that I wrote, and it was one of those where I literally came up with it in like 5 minutes, and it was just a cornball love song, and I got to where I hated to play it. I hated to even think about it, but it was the song that everybody was like, I love that song so much, and it's like, oh, man, that's the boring one. It's so like surface level. Oh, I miss you. You know what I mean? That was the song, and it didn't mean anything to me. So it was kind of frustrating as an artist at the time, trying to get going.
It's very interesting because your perspective, once it leaves the house, it has a whole life of its own. You know what I mean? And you want to serve people. And it gets to a point in time where I think a lot of musicians are like, I'm going to retire this song. I've moved on from this, it's whatever. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but it is interesting to do that comparison of like this song that I worked on for 6 years, that I crafted all of this whatever and put all this work into, and somebody's like, can you play this 2-chord song for me that's about farting or something? And you're just like, cool. So I'm the fart guy now. Okay. Like, so it's a little weird. Like, I totally get what you mean.
Well, I think at this point we're roughly a half hour in. Why don't we take a bit of a break? Guys, I'm going to play a video of that Justin put together of some things. And then hopefully the second half will be a little lighter. You can relax a little bit. Let loose, if you will. Take your pants off if you want. I'm just kidding. But anyway, yeah, we'll be right back.
Find a better way, but it doesn't matter, cause whatever I do just gets ignored, and then we're back to the game. So I sit and ask myself, what's wrong with me? And search for something as I walk right through the door. I'd rather burn this soul to ash instead of hurting at my core. Then I think of all the things I've learned and what they meant today. It's a shame that you feel a burden, you. So now I journey inside, I'm trying to face these deep ends. What is building me? Running just to save your soul, but you're not damned if you just let go. But now it seems to me like you learned and what they meant today. It's a shame that you feel a burden, you. So now I journey inside, I'm trying to face these deep ends. What is building?
like my right glute glue.
I'm a fucking crab, dude.
No rush. You need more time.
No, dude. Nah, dude. We're on the clock. Fuck.
Tasty.
But now it seems to me like you have thrown this away. All the time and love we had, how this can't be true. And I know it's a shame, but I won't. Now a journey inside, I'm trying to face these deep ends. What is building in me? And it feels like there's nothing left, but now I know it can be okay. See, I was sit and ask myself, what's wrong with me? Was it all those times, those little lullabies, or all the things that I can't? The best days are behind us. What the hell are we fighting for? Always focused on the past instead of wanting something more. Now I shed my deep and search for something as I walk right through the door.
And we're back. And look, he changed shirts. He changed into his other favorite shirt. Look at that.
I was so happy to get this off your website. It was one of the last ones there. I was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, it's a hell of a design right there.
I was jealous. I saw Ninjutsu had one and I was like, what? So I just had to make my own. I come from like a pretty metal background, so sometimes you got to make it. Rufus knows what I'm talking about. So.
Yeah, I get that. Filbert had a question earlier that I thought was a really interesting question. Is there a song on a subject you keep trying to write but just hasn't come together?
That is a good question, Filbert. How dare you? I don't know if you know this, but Filbert's really good at light gun games for the Nintendo Entertainment System. But I think right now is the hardest that I'm having time just writing and trying to wrap my head around what I'm doing next. In the past, I had some hurdles with some songs that pertain to some subject matter that became hard, but I was able to tackle them. Yeah, I think the thing that was the hardest to write that I just couldn't wrap my head around was the song Games Up off the new EP. Like I said, it took about 5 years to just allow myself to do it. And it wasn't, I know this isn't exactly what you asked, Filbert. It wasn't exactly the subject matter. Like I couldn't put my head around it. It was more what the song represented in my life, and I couldn't face what that was. I knew exactly what it was, and I refused to do it. And I could feel it starting to like eat away at me. And it became a serious problem for a while, and it stunted my ability to write. But once it came out, like I said, it just came out of me, and I love it. It's a very hard song to perform, but it's great. I'm really happy how it is and how it sounds in the album. We were able to do like multiple part harmonies and things like that, and it was really cool. So I know that's not exactly the answer that you're looking for, Filbert, but I hope that it suffices. Is that how you say that?
Yeah, you can get all those on justinyates.com. There are multiple ways to get there. I mean, you can just type it in, or you can scan the QR code, or Nightbot is thank you, Nightbot, for your help over there. I mean, I don't show Nightbot on screen, but he's always in the corner and he's always doing his job. So thanks. So there you go. You can click it. But no, that's awesome. And it's also one of those things where I get it. It's like, oh man, I just I can't imagine having, because I've never done that before. I never bared my soul the way that you're doing. So I can only imagine how it can be like opening another wound. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah.
Well, it's weird. Like the disorders that I have, it music isn't what I should be pursuing because you're constantly being rejected and you're constantly being invalidated, and it you're what you do is being looked at, which then you identify with, and then it hurts to balance on where your identity is, and it's really difficult. But again, I think it's a hill I'm willing to die on, you know. Um, but I can't say I know the topic that I want to write next, but it's weird. It's similar to Games Up, where it's like I have to figure out certain things in my life to be able to tie with some of these things, to be perfectly okay with it, to then go out and to bear those things and to accept whatever comes back from it and be okay with it. And not, I don't know, be nervous or afraid of judgment or care. Know that I'm singing the songs, I'm happy with it, and know that if people don't like it, it's perfectly okay. And I'm not going to sue you for copyright. But that's a good idea, Filbert. I should. Give me money. Just
No,
kidding.
I think he's telling me to sue you because you're wearing an
Oh,
Order 42 shirt.
oh, I gotcha.
Mm,
I can always change. It's all right. We got
But
enough
let's,
merch here.
I mean, look, we've talked about some things that are I mean, that are heavy, but it's part of your story, so it's important. But also there's some other stuff that you're into. So let's get into some of those
Sure,
questions. So
sure.
first off, KP Senti asks, "What's your favorite dish?"
My favorite dish, like food.
Yeah.
I eat a lot of chicken because I'm overweight and try to build muscle because my back sucks. My favorite dish, I don't know. I'm so boring with food these days. But the
I
most
get that.
consistent thing that I've been eating is like egg whites. You know what I mean? It's not that exciting. Um, I like chicken wings. That's a guilty pleasure. I just went to this Italian bistro that I actually posted in the Order 42 Discord. If you're not in there, you should go. So I love me some pizza. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like what else I really love. Chocolate, is that a dish? I like
Sure.
chocolate. Chocolate's good.
Sure. Have you some ho ho ho? I'm just kidding. Uh yeah, just real quick before we get on to the next thing. I didn't actually say this on stream anywhere. But I went to Dave's Hot Chicken the other day, and
Hmm.
I basically was inhaling it before I even thought to take a picture of it to put it on the Discord. But they have something new there. Instead of you're just like a chicken tender or whatever, they've
Hmm.
got these basically planks, like mozzarella sticks, but it's like in a plank, and they season that with all the stuff, so you can get it medium hot, ultra hot, reaper, whatever, and they're putting it on sandwiches and all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, I got to try this. So I had one. It's pretty good, but it's
Rob,
not as good as the chicken.
you're hilarious, dude. Like the fat guy in that still lives in you, I relate with so much. Because I
Yes.
know that it's still there, and I get these glimpses of it all the time. And for people who don't know, I'm also like a Blockbuster alumni. So when we have these like parallels that pop up, it always makes me laugh. And like that is such a fat guy answer. It's hilarious. It sounds delicious, by the way. It's amazing. Um, I don't know
Dude,
if we have one of those places near me, but I'll have to look.
oh my god, I love it's weird. It's so, for what you get, it's so expensive. It's like it's kind of ridiculous, but I love it so much. I love that place. I don't have it very often, but when I do, it's like I go all out. I mean, I think cuz usually I try to keep, I mean, it's a little inside baseball, I guess, but 800 calories. That's every meal. I try to go around 800 calories because I'm not anywhere as big as I used to be, and I probably shouldn't be having more than 800 calories. Yeah, that was a 1,500 calorie meal that I had the other day for lunch, and it was awesome. And then I slept. So, That's a thing.
That's hilarious. I guess one thing I've been addicted to recently is there's a Chipotle chicken that was just released at Costco that I've been eating a lot of because it's super low
Mm.
calorie and high protein, and it probably has more sodium than I have, but I'm I quit smoking amongst other things almost 3 years ago, and I'm holding about 30 extra pounds, give or take. So I've been really trying to like cut back on that. So when you say an 800 calorie meal, I'm like, I want an 800 calorie meal. I'm eating like 300 calorie meals, like trying to prioritize protein, and it's like, dude, I just want a pizza.
I
This is
get
no
it.
fair.
I get it. Well, I mean, my whole thing is that the weird thing too is that it's like for me, because of the way my body works now,
Mhm.
it just I have to have high protein, high fat, or I feel like the volume's been turned down on my life. It's like I'm just so, and it's because of the way my body works, and it's stupid. But hey, I don't recommend you get 7 surgeries and go through what I went through. So don't do that, kids. Um, but okay, so outside of music and food,
And food, yeah.
what's your thing? What do you like to just disconnect and just consume entertainment or whatever? What is it that you're into?
Um, I have a laundry list of physical and mental ailments. So a lot of my time is spent doing a lot of mental health stuff. Like literally before I talked to you today, I was doing um an hourglass meditation session type thing. I'm always trying to do stuff like that, kind of keep things even keel and to stay focused. So that's something that I do a lot of. I like to read and things of that nature. But I am a nerd and I love a lot of entertainment. So I play a lot of video games. I'm a collector, so I collect a whole bunch of stuff. As you see, my office is always trashed with a bunch of stuff. I used to do a bunch of buying and selling, so there's a lot of inventory and stuff still here. Um, but I play a lot of games. I like video games a lot. And as I mentioned, I used to work at Blockbuster. So I was really into films for a long time. I actually had I'd say probably like 600 DVD collection or something like crazy like that back in the day. And I actually sold it all so that I could fund being in a band. And over the past couple of years, very much recently, I've been really getting into getting physical media again. And being friends with Rob is a horrible friendship because I'm just constantly like, oh, well, I mean, talking about movies, I'm going to start buying movies again. So I've been doing a lot of that, but yeah, recently it's been just actually watching a lot of films, reading a bunch of really interesting stuff, and just playing a lot of games, as well as working on a few of the side projects that you talked about earlier, specifically one called Team Oral that I head up and is on the internet. If anyone is a fan of an old show called Moral Oral.
Yes, and by the way, you can get there. It's up there. It's up there at the top. And he and can you explain to the folks who may not know what that is? You said it's the largest archive or something along those lines on that show.
Uh, yeah. So basically, this show is like a stop animation show. Um, I don't know why I just had a brain fart. Um, it's and it's an older show. It looks like it's a claymation show, kind of like Gumby or something like that, but it's actually made with latex and foam and silicone like type puppets. It was an old Adult Swim show, and it was on a long time ago. It only has a few seasons, but it was a show that I really related with and I really, really liked. And I was a collector of a whole bunch of different shows from Space Ghost to Aqua Teen to I have the world's largest Outlaw Star collection. If you're a fan of anime, that's like one that I really got into for a while. But Moral Oral was a show that I really, really connected with. And I wanted to, how do I say this? Collectors tend to hoard a bunch of stuff and they just collect what they like. And I like collecting things. It's a fun hunt and pursuit, but I wanted to do something that was that could give back to people and just not just waste money on things or just collect things to sit and get dust. So I wanted to create something that I could show people, help people hunt for items, help kids find things. And if you're a collector, you know this, that like nostalgia is very profitable. And I hate it. And most of these collections make it really hard for people to get into things like video games, stuff like that. I guess in short, moral oral is about somebody who's really conflicted and really has their connection with faith broken. It deals with domestic violence, sexuality, addiction, and a whole bunch of other things. So these topics are extremely heavy, but they resonate with a certain type of person. And to me, I thought it was a tragedy that a 16-year-old kid that would relate with the show couldn't buy the DVD because the DVD set is $600. It's ridiculous. So where's something? Boom. Okay, we'll go over here really quick. So see if I can talk into my mic. This is like the complete lessons collection. This thing goes for like $600 online. It's ridiculous. And that thing was like a tragedy to me. I thought it was horrible that kids couldn't find that. So I wanted to like help kids track this down and share things with it. And I know this is a long-winded thing. I'll get back to it. But basically, once I got the site up, things started to like snowball. We got like 100,000 hits within the first couple months, which was just crazy. The Instagram page grew. It's been growing a little bit. We just posted this prop that we got, and that got a lot of eyeballs on it, which was really cool. But we started acquiring props and acquiring more items and talking to people in the show, and it started to really snowball. And it's been really, really great. And nowadays we try to preserve as much as we can. We try to keep it alive because a lot of people from the show have moved on, and the puppets are really temperamental, and they need to be preserved over time or they will break and get destroyed. And I don't want that to happen. I want this show to be able to affect other people, because no offense to any of these other shows, they don't this show resonates and is extremely timeless with people. I can't say that same thing for Dexter's Laboratory. I can't say that same thing for a lot of other shows. And it's not to be like, okay, that's good art or that's bad art, but there is things that resonate with people and there's stuff that's timeless. And I want to be able to keep that alive for a long time. I also thought it would be cool, and I don't think my microphone's going to reach, so bear with me here, guys. I haven't posted this online yet, but here's one prop that I got recently, which is the mother. Recently got her. And you could see like
Wow.
the puppets are made of latex and foam. Some other ones are like made out of silicone, but this is from like the first season. And I'm having to go jump through hoops to be able to preserve these things, but I'm trying my best. I hope over time that I can be able to talk to the puppet what is it called? Museum basically in Atlanta over time, and be able to kind of donate to them so they'll preserve it for years to come, because other people just sell them or they'll get trashed in storage or something. And I really want to try to do something to kind of give back, because I've seen it happen countless times. And now we're seeing, I don't know if you saw that PBS thing. They just had like 50 terabytes of like old shows just disappear because of some company. Like, these people aren't trying to preserve this stuff. And I don't know, maybe it's ambitious of me, but I want to try to do something to save something that helped me a lot and hopefully can help other people. And the cool thing about it is it still is. Like, this show over the past couple of years has like exploded on the internet because a whole new wave of people found the show and connected with it. And it's become so big that now they're trying to like bring it back. They're trying to write like a movie script. They're going to start pitching that soon. They're trying to do a lot more stuff with it. So it's cool to see that happening. Get a second life, so to say.
That is very cool. Very cool. And very, like, so outside of my knowledge base. Like, I'd never even heard of it until you mentioned it to me, and I looked into it. I'm like, oh, that's really interesting.
The show is something special. That whenever anyone asks me about it, I always tell them really quick, like, the first season is very episodic. It's very silly. It's like the adventures of Oral. Basically, he loves religion so much that he gets a lesson from his preacher and basically takes the lesson and follows it to the extreme and just takes it the wrong way or does something crazy. And it's just over the top to being over the top. But the show around the middle of the second season takes a hard dramatic twist, and it takes the show into a much serious tone, which I think people on the entire network weren't ready for. And it's something much different, and I think it embodies a lot of human elements that most shows on Adult Swim don't have, and that's why about 20 years later, people are like, what's the top 10 best Adult Swim shows? That's on that list. I mean, this show is still hailed as one of the darkest television shows to ever be on TV. And I don't know, when most people think of Adult Swim, they think of stoner fart jokes and just, Tim and Eric and just, silliness. And this show is silly, but it's disturbingly dark, and maybe that speaks to my character, but there's a lot of things that I relate to it, and, I don't know, I'm happy to at least try to keep that alive for younger audiences to wanna, like, check that out too, because it's not TV is very safe these days, and that doesn't always resonate with everyone. Um, it resonates with a lot, but not with everyone, you know?
Right. Hmm. Well, here's a question from Miss Moon. She said, "What is Justin's favorite game of all time?"
Um,
Hmm.
this is gonna be a controversial take. We could talk about this for a while if you guys want to. So I would say for a long time that my favorite game, and it probably still is, the original Legends of Zelda. It's just what I grew up with. I just love it. I'm not a fan of a few different Zeldas out there, but that original one, it's. I mean, if anyone watched the Game Dave streams, I was in the chat freaking out, like, turn left, this bush, go here. Like, these things are burned into my head because I played it. It's just so much. It's ridiculous. So probably that's the best one, but I have a hard second runner up, and I have a lot of games here. There's a lot of games that I really love, from Metal Gear Solid to all different types of stuff. But um, I have really, really been enjoying The Last of Us for about the past like year and a half, and I'm pretty sure, and my therapist will agree, that I'm just trauma bonding with the second game, and that might be the case. But I really enjoy the game. And I know it's a modern Gears of War game. I understand all of this, but there's something about it that I really like. And it's been a while since a game I really connected with a game like that. I've connected with a lot of games and emotionally, but there was something about that game having to do with love, the as they quoted, the cycle of violence, and just the brutality of some things that really resonated with me and I really, really enjoyed. And I'm trying to play other games right now, and I find myself constantly going back to that, which is quite interesting.
I get that too. I mean, I'm that way with Breath of the Wild. I still love that game. Um, what about and Filbert? I'll get to your follow up question to that here in a minute. So, do you have? Because I always find this. It's kind of like when I would do interviews for people at Blockbuster. Like when I'm interviewing people for the first time. One of the only questions that mattered to me is, "What's your favorite movie?" And have them explain it. But since you're a musician, what's your favorite film score or soundtrack? Huh?
I agree with you that there's a big difference between the two. Um, I that's a really hard question to answer, but oh, that's tough. Um, I really like the Garden State soundtrack. I really go back to that every once in a while. I like a lot of the songs that he put together on that playlist, and I think a lot of people do as well too. Um, I really like the score for Waking Life. I found that to be extremely enjoyable. Um, I I, I mean, I just purchased the Last of Us vinyl for 1 and 2, and that was one that I really really enjoyed, and I thought that that score was great, and it had a very familiar feel to it that I felt that shows like Dead would have, where it's almost this like depressing, mysterious kind of westerny sort of feel to it, and I've really been enjoying listening to that. I believe the guy who headed that up, his name's Gustavo, and he's a really really interesting dude who does a lot of interesting film scores. Um, and they use that, for the show and things like that. But yeah, I mean, that's really hard to answer off the top of my head because I'm just getting flooded with a bunch of different answers or a bunch of different movies that are popping up into my head. But I guess those are ones that popped up first, so I guess we'll go with those.
Yeah, I mean, nobody asked me, but I'll tell you because I was thinking about something you said made me think about it. One of my favorite scores is Inception. And the reason that I love Inception so much is because it's very close to the basically where you are in the film is how intricate the score is. And as as the layers start to fall away and you start to get closer to reality, the score also becomes less complex. And I love that when you're deep in it and there's so many different you're 4 layers deep in the dream, there's the chord structure to the main theme is so intricate. I love it. And it's one of the things that it's like lit my freaking brain up when I was seeing it in the theater because I'm like, I'm sitting there going, these chords are so freaking complex, and it's because they're deep in the dream. They're 3 layers deep, 4 layers deep. And then what's funny is I guess most people that think of the song is called Time. When that plays at the end, it's so straightforward. You know what I mean? And it's just like they're playing that theme throughout the movie. It's one of those things that I just love. I loved the score so much, which made me in turn love the film even more. Blah 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 blah. But anyway,
That's Hans Zimmer who did that, right?
yep, yep.
I will say that it's been a while since I've seen that. I know we talked about it recently by making the comparison to Paprika, which I still say you should check out when
Oh,
you
I
get a
need to
chance.
check that
But
out for sure.
I remember digging every aspect of Inception. I know I have it here. I think on Blu-ray. But I will say that I really did enjoy everything that is part of the Dune soundtrack that he did. I was really really enjoyed that a lot. It embodies some of those same things I was just saying about The Last of Us. A lot of like world instruments, that woman's voice from the first film, like how that sits in there, the very interesting guitar work that's like intertwined in there, and the fact that of like who he hired for the job. He's I mean, it there's no wonder why he is, the man, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that aspect of what he brings, it brings a whole other dimension to it. I don't know if I would feel the same way about the score with the Odyssey, but I know definitely with those two, I remember walking away from it feeling very impactful. I think I felt the same way about the Dark Knight too, where I was like, this is it just felt right. Like he really hammered it home. And it's not to say that the Odyssey wasn't good, but it's a little bit different.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
that's not Hans. That's Ludwig
It
Göransson.
isn't? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, then I'm just a giant idiot.
No,
So
it's
I'm glad we
but
have
I
that
mean,
on tape.
well,
No, it's fine.
when Christopher Nolan went to Universal for whatever reason, and I think it's just because Hans Zimmer was so focused on Dune that he didn't work on Oppenheimer and he didn't work on the Odyssey. And I think
Mm.
Göransson's work on Oppenheimer is far superior to his score of the Odyssey, even though, man, there's a video online where he's talking about how he was trying to use what he could imagine instruments sounded like back then and stuff like that. It's very interesting, but it's also
Hmm.
weirdly, I mean, you saw the movie, right?
Yeah.
So we're not giving anything away here, but it's like weirdly electronic in parts and almost it's an odd score. Like there's a lot of people that are praising it. I did not it did not connect for me. Like it was one of the things that kept taking me out of the movie because I'm like, what the hell is this song? You know what I mean? It just didn't work for me.
The scenes where it sounded like you were listening to somebody just tinker on a Moog, like synthesizer, was a little bit like off-putting. But I felt the same way when people make bold choices like that, in other films where they're just pulling from different genres where it just kind of like is like, what is this, you know? But that is a little odd, to yeah, have synthesizers in there and say I'm trying to find music of the time. Like just what? That's a little strange.
Well, and
Um,
he also did Sinners, and I thought that one was much more. You can play away around with your music, your instrument choices, and all that kind of stuff because of the very nature of what he's trying to get across in the movie. The movie, that one sequence in the middle of the movie where it's literally like the history of music 101. You know what I mean? It's like right here.
yeah.
And I remember I don't know if anybody else felt that way, but when that scene started and all of a sudden it's changing genres, or and the visuals are changing, and I'm sitting there going, what the hell is going on? And then all of a sudden it was like, oh my god, this is something happened, and it clicked for me, and I went, this is one of my favorite scenes I've ever seen. Like I love the way that played out. But again, you can do that in a movie like Sinners. You can't do that in a movie like The Odyssey. But then again, who am I to say? I mean, there's a lot of people that really love that score, so you know.
And they're wrong, and it's okay for them to be wrong. That's fine. It's not a problem, you know?
Um,
I'm just kidding.
let's go back to what Filbert said. I think this is an interesting question too. What is a game that you would love to see a specific favorite musician play, to see their experience and talk about the game with them?
Huh. I don't know, that's a weird question. You know, there's a lot of different musicians out there, and one of the musician, like, stereotypes or archetypes is the one who ideals like, idolizes the rock star. There's musicians that I like, but I'm not that person who has a poster of Eddie Van Halen on their wall. I have a picture of Train Spotting movie poster from when it came out, for God's sake. So it's like, it's not like I really want to sit down with James Hetfield from Metallica and play Guitar Hero with him and see if I can beat him at this Aerosmith song. So that's interesting. I'd really have to think about that and really see how they pull on it, because we're talking about like the Last of Us, and it would be interesting to play that with a musician like a John Mayer, somebody who's like really into love and has a lot of different emotions that he pulls into that, and see how he connects with an emotional based game. But then if I'm thinking about like an Andy McKee, like some virtuistic acoustic instrumentalist who's playing an older retro game that's got this crazy score or something like that, like what he would think of it, what he would pick out. So I don't know. That's a very interesting question, Philbert. I'd really have to think about the type of musician and the type of game. I know I'm just bringing up these random examples, but I don't know. Honestly,
I thought I was the only one that knew who Andy McKee was. Uh,
I'm glad you do.
oh,
That's
that
that's
guy.
awesome.
The
Yeah,
the
he's
one album that he did
he's great.
with it's I can't remember the guy's name, but he did it. It was like a duet the whole time. That album is so amazing, and it's two really great guitar players playing some of Andy's music with two parts. You know what I mean? And so it's not like
Hmm.
Andy has to do, like, there's a, what is it, Ebon Coast, I think, is one of the songs that really sticks out for me that I love from him. He's not doing all of the knocking on the guitar and doing all the crazy stuff. The other guy's doing it, which frees Andy up to be more expressive in the solo part. It's really cool if you haven't heard.
If I
I need to look it up, I
if
guess.
I'm I think it's called like it's like called Triply or Triple something. It's him and I think Trevor Gordon Hall and someone else, and they and maybe it's Caleb Graham. I think they did like a CD together, and they did some of those songs from The Art of Motion, which is Andy McKee's like that's the reason why most people know him, how he became like internet famous, so long ago. Um, what just popped into my head, and if I had the chance to do it, I would love, and it'll never happen, but I would love to sit down with Trevor from the Black Dahlia Murder and play some retro games with him, um, because he was such a huge video game nerd who loved his RPGs and loved so many different retro games, and he had such a huge passion for it. It just to be a fly on the wall to hear him just go off on those types of things would have been really great. So I think that's one that'll never happen for those that know, and that would be a really cool one to be able to experience. That would be cool.
Hmm. Well, here's a question that will lead into we need to show off some stuff. But
Sure.
your physical music, your physical stuff, you're not just releasing stuff online and going on Apple Music and stuff. You're releasing experiences. You're releasing products. What is it about this? Is it just because you worked at Blockbuster? Like, what is it that makes you say, I need to release a physical product? What is it about that that's so important to you? For all you youngins out there that do nothing but stream.
I think I have one deluxe package left. If you guys want to see it in the chat, let me know. I have the chat open here. But basically, I mean, I worked at a radio station for years. We get CDs and tapes in. Whenever I was younger, I loved physical media. I mean, I just remember I was one of those kids that like sat and read liner notes, constantly
Yep.
over and over. Like, it's just something that I've grown up with and I really have an appreciation for. And it really brought a whole different level of depth to just the music itself. So I've always appreciated, like always. And I still I grew up in that time of where I can appreciate the internet too. So I don't mind digital media. I hate Spotify and royalties and all this other junk that I could speak about to a level of nauseum. But um, physical media, I've always loved. That's why it's really odd to see where the world is. But with this last album, I I asked myself, why am I doing this? Because I'm struggling for a long time, and that's a whole saga within itself. But I had the thought of like, if I'm going to do something, I want it to be worthwhile. I want somebody to be happy with what they're purchasing. And I want it to be more in depth and not just a song that they listen to for 15 seconds on Instagram while they're sitting on the toilet and move on. I want it to be something that they have to invest time in, and something that is something they can sink their teeth into. And for anyone who watched the stream last week, Rob was showing off a Tool album that came in this crazy package, and it had a music player, and it was this huge just thing that was awesome. And I always thought that kind of stuff was cool, and I thought that's interesting. And I kept thinking in my head, like, is that time past? Can there still be something that is the middle ground between doing a CD that some people say is completely outdated to just putting it on Spotify and just essentially giving it away for free? Well, number one, I can't afford to give it away for free. Number two, I like physical media. I'd love to make vinyl, but I'm such a small fish that I can't really justify it. But my idea in my head was, I want to make some sort of thing that when I give you this thing, this is the thing. And that's what the deluxe package was. And it was basically a box, and the box came with a toy and came with 25 plus videos of a documentary and the making of the toys, and it came with the CD, and it came with everything. And the idea was in my head was like, this is what I want to give. Like, this package, it came with like a CD, a t-shirt, all this kind of stuff. And I just thought that if you're going to make the investment, I want to make the investment worthwhile. I want to make something cool. I want to push some of the ideas I've been working on for years, like the toy idea I've been working on for like 7 years. It's just failure after failure until I found a way to do it. And it just, yeah, I want it to be like, if I'm going to do physical media in a time where it's tough, I want to make something that people are super stoked about. And I might have one or two deluxe packages left, but most of them sold out instantly, which is shocking and awesome. And it's really cool to see that people jumped on it. And I'm just really, really happy that there's still people who like appreciate that and can see that it's like, this whole thing was the idea I was trying to do, not just a couple songs, you know what I mean? And so I'm stoked about it. I don't know if I can keep doing it in the future, but I'd like to because I like that aspect and that level of creativity of creating other things. Like I said on the website, there's a game. Last time for the second album, we did crochet monkeys that we did custom made monkeys for people. Like I'm always trying to do something a little bit different and trying to keep it fresh. And it's not like that when I say check out my Spotify song.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And my
Yeah.
one still image is just it's
Yeah.
just not the same, man. I hope that answers the question. I know it's
Oh
super
no,
long-winded.
absolutely. I mean, I think that's a perfect answer, because I mean that's what's cool about that Tool album, or some of my, which I don't even know what it is, but I have a 9 Inch Nails release that was I mean, this was before, Trent Reznor started doing, a bunch of music scores, just like scores,
Mhm.
like almost like I'm okay. 9 Inch Nails is on the back burner. I'm just doing scores now. It was
Yeah.
9 Inch Nails, but it was all instrumental, and it came in a like a big box, and you pull it out, and it's got the CDs in there. There's 4 CDs with it, but it's all this artwork too, and the artwork just kind of speaks to kind of the mood that these songs are in and stuff. It was such a cool thing though. It was like, this is different than just, you know, your typical, just even a CD. It went above and beyond. And like, yeah, like that Tool thing that I showed off last week with the freaking video player in it. I mean, that's crazy. That's you don't see that. And that's why I was like, okay, I love Tool. This is a limited thing. I need this. So yeah, I think it's cool. But why don't you I don't know which, do you have stuff to that you may have picked up this week that you want to show off? Because I do.
Sure, yeah. Why don't you go first when I try to like set up my camera over here? Hold on, I gotta
Well
try
then,
to figure out
okay.
how to
I
do
just
this. Not
so
exactly sure.
thanks.
I
I
gotta figure this
appreciate
out
that.
really quick.
So so yeah, you guys know I'm a movie guy. And I've gotten into, Max isn't here tonight, or he's just not here tonight. Shozama is not in here tonight. But he really got me turned on to all the Warner Archive stuff. And so I have kept a lot of the Warner Archive collection stuff in my Amazon wish list, right? And usually those are 4 movie packages, and they're usually about $40, which is still a really good deal. $10 a movie, it's not bad. Well, I got a message that this one was on sale for $22. So I went ahead and got it. It's the Humphrey Bogart collection, which comes with 4 Humphrey Bogart movies that I've never seen before. So I'm pumped to watch these. So it's let's see, They Drive by Night, and that's got Ida Lupino in it, George Raft, and then Passage to Marseille with Claude Rains and Sidney Greenstreet and Peter Lorre. I mean, come on, that's gonna be great. You got Conflict with Sidney Greenstreet. That's gonna be awesome. I mean, I just know these movies are gonna be good. And then Chain Lightning with Eleanor Parker and Raymond Massey. I mean, I'm down. I'm down. So 4 Humphrey Bogart movies I've never seen. What's cool about the Warner Archive packages, I talk about this all the time, but it's in basically a single, like in a single Blu-ray, right? 4 discs in here. It's not 4 movies on one disc and they look like crap. No, these are awesomely like restored. They look amazing, and each one of them will have their own set of special features. So if there's commentaries, you're getting them. If there's little making of things, or a lot of times what they do is that they'll set up a whole, like almost an experience of, like, if a movie came out in 1941, you might get a newsreel on there, you might get a cartoon, you might get some, one of those, hey, this is, if it's something related to the movie. So if it's a World War II movie, it might be a movie, or a little thing about the U-boats, or you know what I mean. It's super cool, and I love the Warner Archive. I've got a ton of them now, but I've never seen these. I'm very excited. So there's that. So what you got, Justin?
I accidentally pulled out my headphones. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Am I up? Am I up next?
Yeah, go for it.
I turned my mini camera off. If you guys want me back on the screen, you let me know. If not, I'm gonna sit and fart over here in peace. All right, Miss Moon, this one's for you. We got this one this week. I hope you're still in here. Wait, hold on. Oh, we got a little bit of a light. Miss Moon. Bam. What you know about this? Got myself a little Metal Gear Solid diorama. It's like
Oh
15
yeah, I
bucks. By
saw.
the way, I cut the callus off my finger. Can't even play guitar right now. I hate life. So if you're a fan of Metal Gear Solid, it's very silly and stupid, and I love it.
It's super cool.
And that's something I got this week. So that's just a special one from Miss Moon. But you know what? I'll start off with this week is something that actually it's something that actually Rob is not familiar with that I think he should check out. It's actually the DVD set of The Wire. It's the complete series. I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of it. I know Rob has never heard of it, but I thought I would just start off with this one. It's one of the ones that I bought recently. It's really great. Rob, you should check out The Wire one of these days.
You know,
it's really nice.
I have actually heard of The Wire. I have. You said that's a DVD set?
It is a DVD set. I saved just a couple bucks because I'm not, this snooty film reviewer on YouTube. So, it's like whatever. And, I saved a couple bucks, so I didn't go with the Blu-ray. But this is not a bad presentation for the DVD. It's not too bad.
Yeah, that is
So
a neat
I
set.
thought I'd check it out. Pretty cheap. You can find it online. If you like The Wire, I would say check it out. So that's my first one to show off today. I've got a whole bunch more depending on how much we want to do show and tell. Dun, 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 dun,
Well,
dun,
why don't I?
dun, 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 dun.
Filbert said, "Can you ask Justin to give us a full multi-hour commentary on The Wire?" Oh boy. Well, let me take over for a second, and then it's basically the only other thing that I got this week, but it's kind of nuts. So, and I'm actually kind of irritated that Max isn't here because he asked me. He said, "Hey, you said that you weren't going to buy anything. Did you buy anything?" And I was like, "I bought something, and it could be stupid. This could be stupid." So if you know me and you know that there's Tolkien, look. I'm gonna switch off of you for a second, Justin. Look at all this Tolkien stuff. Look at all this. I think they can still hear you. They just can't see right now. There's a lot of Tolkien here, right? I'm a Tolkien fan. Okay. Now, one of the things that's kind of it's an odd thing. You're back on, Justin, by the way. So, keep your pants on.
Hey.
It's one of the things that, of course, you can go through and collect all the different books and all that stuff, but I like the really odd stuff, the unique stuff. Well, a while back, I purchased this, which is and by the way, Johnny's here. Johnny saw this the other night. So, this is for you guys.
Hey, Johnny.
So this is basically the same style as the first time that I ever read The Hobbit in 7th grade. They handed these out to us and we read The Hobbit like this. So this is basically paperback size, but this is a hardback. This is called Permabound. Permabound is the company. You can see it right here. It's Permabound is the company that does it. There's multiple companies that do this. There's Turtleback. There's a bunch of them. Okay. But anyway, Permabound is what I always had in my head because I remember seeing Permabound on the back of the copy of The Hobbit that I read. And it's just the paperback, but hardbound. And I just think it's cool looking. And I remember it was exactly like this. It had the eagle on the front. It had the yellow. So it's kind of like, this is like buying my 7th grade, whatever. But one of the things that I always wanted to do was say, I want a fresh copy. I want something that is, well, uncirculated, not put in a freaking school or a library or whatever. I want a set like this that's uncirculated. And I found a company that would sell it to me because most of the time when you see Permabound, they only sell to libraries or schools. And you have to give them a tax ID and all the stuff that schools have to set up for their libraries. Well, this company allowed me to purchase a set of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit like this. Uncirculated, brand new. Here we go. Bam. So, this set, if you go to Barnes and Noble right now or wherever you buy your books, you're going to see this set, but it's not hardback. This is a complete set in hardback of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. Now, what's cool about this is I was kind of hoping that I would get some kind of unique, because I mean, there's so many different copies of Lord of the Rings, right? There's ones with freaking Viggo Mortensen on it. There's ones with Legolas on it. There's ones that just have the poster art on them and stuff like that. I have multiples of all of those because I'm a dork, and I would just, when I saw a permabound copy of a Tolkien book, I'd just buy it. I wouldn't care. I'd just put it in the cart. Kind of like Game Dave would just buy random crap on, some Chinese site. Yeah. I would just buy Tolkien, permabounds, no matter what they were. But I've never had one like this, where it's brand freaking new. And again, these are your standard paperbacks that you would buy in the store, but they're hardbound. I love it. Look at that. And there it is. There's the permabound right on the back. It's perfect. They're pristine. And each one, of course, has its unique. I just love, dude, I'm smitten, as they say. I don't know who says that, but I say it sometimes. There you go. So basically, I have something unique that not a whole lot of people have, and that is permabound copies, uncirculated. I think that's cool. I just think it's cool. Now, don't ask me how much it was. It wasn't cheap. I'll just say that. These are about the same price as a full hardback set from Amazon or Barnes & Noble. Again, for the nerd collector like me that loves this and searched for years to get this yellow one, I'm very happy to have an uncirculated set. So there you go. That is my final pickup of the week. And like I said, probably more than I needed to spend on books that I have multiple copies of. You can see the multiple copies I have, but I got another set. So there you go. The floor is yours, Justin.
Do you collect all things Lord of the Rings? Like, do you have like a laser disc or like a video CD of like the Hobbit like animated thing? Just out of curiosity.
No, it really, for me, it was, of course I love the movies. I have I have multiple copies of the DVDs. I have multiple copies of the, I have the extended versions, the ones that look like books. I have them up on my shelf up there. I have the regular editions, and then I have the Blu-rays. I think I have both. Maybe I have both versions of the Blu-rays. I don't know. I also have the limited edition DVDs that somehow I can't find. They're not in any of my boxes, and it kind of frustrates me. But so no, when it comes to the movies, I'm not a huge collector. But when it comes to the books, I have basically everything Tolkien ever put down to paper. And then a bunch of extra stuff that I didn't need, like, again, multiple copies. I don't know how many copies of Lord of the Rings I have, but it's too much. I could open up a store probably of just Tolkien stuff.
I should show you my my Outlaw Star collection one of these days. I should show you. You'll feel better about yourself.
Well, the thing is as crazy as I got, where I was almost buying like a new Lord of the Rings set like every month or so. And so I have I want to say I have like 8 or 9 copies of Lord of the Rings. There are people that have way more than me, and they buy like you can see, these are both The Hobbit. They're the exact same printing basically on the inside. As far as like the book, it's exactly the same, but there's different covers. Well, somebody will go out and they'll buy every different cover variation, and I'm like, no, I don't need that. I want the one that I remember reading when I was in 7th grade, and I want one that's, unread basically. But other than that, I don't care. So I'm not one of those people, but anyway.
I feel attacked because I am one of those people. So
Well, I
thank you
mean,
for that.
it's just not for me, Like me, I just wanted to buy the coolest versions that I wanted. And
Okay, I got a
so
question for you. In my backlog, I actually do have the Lord of the Rings video game for the Super Nintendo. Have you ever played that before?
Lord of the Rings for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
No. I don't think I've ever played it for the Super. No, I don't even know which version that is. Now, what's weird is a lot of the video games I've never played. So,
okay, I know people in the chat will probably say that the ones for, I think, the PlayStation 2 era, like the Return of the King games, were like great. I've heard so many mixed reviews about the Super Nintendo one. I saw it recently and got it in a lot, and I was like, I've got to check this out. I hear it's horrible, but sometimes horrible games are amazing. So
well, it's
who
like
knows?
that PS5 Gollum that came out a year or two ago or whatever that supposedly is so bad that it's like
I've heard
like one of the worst games ever. But
I've never played it.
Me neither.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
So I have so much to show you guys. It depends on how long Rob wants to go on for, because it was my birthday last week, and
hey, happy late birthday.
Hey, thanks. If you guys want to give me anything, you can just go to justinyates.com and get yourself something. That's how that works. Or you can buy me a copy of the Wire Complete series, and then I can give that to Rob, and then he can finally watch it. But I've also been slowly buying all of Vinny's Blu-ray discs. So I've had a whole bunch of packages come in, and I've been on a kind of a small kick. Hold on a second. I need to bend over here, and I know this headphone's going to shoot out of my ear. Oh, wait, no, it's okay. Okay, so I've been on this weird kick lately. Well, actually, let's show these first. So per RufusTheRed.com's suggestion, I picked up Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls. He said I should play Beyond Two Souls if I'm a fan of The Last of Us, because apparently this is a great game, and that's Ellen Page. I guess this is like short of a movie. It's supposed to be an amazing game. I've never played it, but it's supposed to be great. I'm pretty sure. Oh, I can't remember his name. He's in Oz, Whiplash. What is his name? He's in the Spider-Man movies. God, I can't remember his name. Somebody help me.
Eric Estrada.
Anyone? That's close.
No.
It's got a bunch of other actors that are in it. It's supposed to be really good, so I'm super excited to check that out. Also, Heavy Rain is supposed to be an amazing game. Amazing game. Per my question on Order 42 last week, scooped up that.
Nice.
For all who know,
J.K. Simmons, Johnny said.
I've got some random ones from Vinny that came in. Nothing too spectacular, but some classics. We got Steelbook of Days of Futures Past, which came in, which is great. 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is an amazing movie if you've ever seen that before.
It's a good one.
Cloverfield is kind of always hit or miss, but this one has a real special vibe to it. Even if you just watch this one, you'll be fine. It's John Goodman. Man.
Yep.
Just really great. He hooked me up with this, which I've needed for a while. I've got Watchmen on DVD, but I didn't have V for Vendetta, but we're going to put that one to the side. So I was able to grab that up, so that's always nice.
Very nice.
Can I pull this back a little bit? And then, just another old classic one that came in, which is always great to see. Did you ever see Gladiator 2, by the way, Rob?
Yes.
I heard it was hot garbage.
Yeah, it pretty much is. I mean, it's I think it's worth watching if you're a Gladiator fan, just because it is kind of fun, but it's not really good. It's not really a really good movie. And Denzel Washington he's having a lot of fun in that movie. He's really enjoying playing a very nasty guy. But other than that, it's not very good. It's not a very good movie.
All right, give me 2 more seconds here. I got to pop out my headphones for a second. Give me 1 second here. Sing a song for everybody, Rob.
No. How about that? How about I just, I'll say, hey, I don't know if he heard that Johnny said J.K. Simmons. I wonder if that's the person that he was thinking of.
2 more
And Willem
seconds.
Dafoe.
I'm sorry. I'm holding up the show. Okay.
uh,
So I've been. What's up? Hi.
yes.
Sorry, I'm back.
Hi.
So I've been on this kick of trying to pick up a film and then pick up the book that goes with it.
Nice.
I haven't done this in a while, but I wanted to pick up some stuff that I haven't seen. So like recently I was watching The Watchmen and I was like, you know what? I'm finally going to sit down and read it. So I did. And I was like, man, that's really cool. I like the compare and contrast. And then I did that with The Last of Us buying the script series. And I was like, wow, I actually really like doing that. And maybe I'm a film nerd because I'm the kind of nerd that'll sit there and read a script while I'm watching the film. I just like that extra thing. But the compare and contrast is something that has just been really, really fun. And I challenge anybody else to jump on it. So another one that came in was Requiem for a Dream. Got to force myself to read that one.
Yeah, that's light entertainment there.
Oh yeah. I have yet to read this, so I picked this up to go with V for Vendetta.
Ooh,
I've been wanting to read that for forever, so really stoked about that one.
Hell
More crap to add here. One of Rob's favorite movies that I had to pick up a copy of that on Blu-ray this week, and I recently read this, and it's an amazing compare and contrast between the two, which the endings are different. Spoiler. So check it out. The book is actually a really fast and easy read, just so you know.
There you go.
I've never read this book before, but I picked up the Blu-ray and picked up the book as well. Really cheap. So really looking forward to reading that one. So that should be fun.
I've never read that, and I love the movie.
I hear that the book is much different. And one of the things that people say that's the biggest difference is the coin. They say that the description of the coin in the book is so much more than it is in the film. And I'm really interested to see how that sits. And in the vein of that, I've picked up a movie that I've wanted to pick up for a while. Again, just a really good family film and pair that I wanted to add to the collection. I know I'm missing one more from Cormac, but at least I got these two knocked off the list, so happy to get that.
Yeah, that is
also
I did read the book and I did see the movie. Wow.
Yeah. It's up there. And a lot of people say if you like The Last of Us, this is definitely something that is in the world of that. So I think it'll be welcomed over here.
For sure.
Also something that I got, and this is per being influenced by Rob's stupid face, is this one, which I think is actually my first ever Criterion Collection film, which I was really, really happy to get because recently I picked up the graphic novel of A History of Violence, and this is very much different from this. I've always loved this film, even it being a little corny and having its moments, but it's great. And this is a really interesting release. The presentation is really cool. Comes with a bunch of bonus stuff in there. It's got the Blu-ray and the 4K, which is great. And I love it. I've always thought this was great. Very memorable scenes that are in it. But I enjoyed this so much that doing the compare and contrast was really, really awesome stuff. As Rob jumps off screen. But the biggest thing that I got, this one's for you, Filbert. And, I woke up 2 days ago to one of the windows in my car being broken, which is not fun because I really didn't need to have more expenses, but I was able to grab something else recently.
Sounds heavy. Oh, it is heavy. Ooh. Wow.
So I've been on the fence, and I know I'm probably going to get a bunch of hate because we're talking about physical collectors and there's a whole bunch with it. But, it's 7 years old. I had to set myself up to play some GTA with Rufus when the time came. So because it was the birthday and was able to justify it, I was able to grab that. So I finally have a 4K player here. So goodbye to my bank account. I hate you, Rob. And to go along with
how is that? To go along with
that, I picked up Silent Hill F, That's for you, Miss Moon. Really excited to pick that up. Something's gonna fall and break here soon, and picked up The Last of Us Part 1 and 2
Dude, that's awesome though.
remastered,
And
which
hey,
I'm super stoked about.
when you're, I mean, I don't know if it goes on sale because I don't pay attention to game stuff that much, but definitely the PS5, is that, I'm assuming that's a brand new one.
It is, and I was able to actually get like a really nice deal on it, which I was happy about. But yes, I did buy it new. I was gonna buy it used, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to worry about anything, so
Well,
I'll deal with it.
you're going
So
to really enjoy the pack-in game, the Astrobot game.
dude, I played that game for 8 minutes and was like, this is whatever. And then I just sat with it for a little bit, and I was like, if this is the last, to me, it's probably the last physical system that I buy because I love Famicom and all these older systems. But like, if that is the final love letter to PlayStation, what a great thing.
Yeah, so
Really, really cool.
you should pick up Astrobot at some point. For sure. Like
No,
the full
it's
game.
It's on there. The whole game is on there. It came with it.
Now, well, there's an Astrobot game that comes with it that's like a it's almost like, hey, this is what the PlayStation can do, and it's what it came with every PlayStation at the beginning. But then there's a full Astrobot game that is very challenging, very deep, and very long. Like it takes a while to beat. It's almost like the size of, say, a Super Mario, like a big Super Mario game or something. It's definitely worth buying, definitely worth playing once you get around to that, because it looks like you've got some games to tide you over. But I did want to show off before, because I mean, can you believe it? We're almost at 10 o'clock. We're almost at the end of the show. But I did want to show something really quick to Ms. Moon, because she said she brought this up earlier, and talking about extensive sets and things like that. I typically, when it comes to movies, when it comes to games, it has to be a very, very special movie to make me go, okay, yeah, I can get the movie for $10 or whatever on Blu-ray, or I can spend $60 on a limited edition that has all this crazy crap on it. Well, this movie I decided to do that with, and it is, unfortunately, this is not something that is easy. Oh, look at there. There's Vinny right there. Unfortunately, this is not something that is easy to acquire now, because it's sold out. I bought it right toward the end of the availability of it. But it's a movie that she mentioned, so Drive. This is the Second Sight 4K limited edition of Drive. Okay, so this is with Ryan Gosling, right? So the first thing you do is you take off the little boxy slip thing, and then it's got a message from the director on the back, right? This is one of the most intricate sets like this I own. So then it's got, you can see Drive kind of written in pink there. Now look, you open it up like this, and you've got a whole nother thing here, which includes,
this is quite the presentation.
This is an insane set. So this is the movie, 4K and Blu-ray. This was only available. This is Second Sight Films is the name of the company that makes this stuff. To me, Second Sight is the premier. I mean, Criterion is great. I mean, you know, the history of violence, it's great, but Criterion rarely does stuff at this level, where this is one movie and it's got this very extensive collection of stuff.
Is that a Region 2 release, by the way, or is it?
It is a Region
1?
B. You do have to import these, but along it, a side of it is, hey, look at there. It's Drive. The hammer should look familiar if you've seen the movie. It's got a blurb on the back, a line from the movie. But this is a huge book of essays and behind the scenes photos. Here's some storyboards that's in here. In the back, there's, I mean, even more essays, a lot of artwork. It's just insane. It just looks, this is like, if you're a fan of this movie, this is like the primo edition of the movie. It's kind of insane, but we're not done. It also comes with Drive, written by James Salas. So this is the actual book that it's based on, that it comes with. So you get all of this, and this was a $60 set when, and it says on the back, I drive, that's what I do, all I do. This is an insane, insane set. Now, Second Sight is one of those where, kind of like Arrow is starting to get this way too. Criterion used to be this way, but not so much anymore. But back in the day, what they would do is they'd say, hey, we're going to put this up for pre-order. And then usually about a month after it comes out, they start to go, hey, we're going to stop making these, so if you want to get one, now's the time. No. Second Sight, if they sell out during the pre-order process, they ain't making any more. So this one happened to not sell out, but I got it for $60. These regularly go for like $300 plus on eBay now. It's crazy. Oh, and I forgot, it also comes with lobby cards, which are gorgeous and beautiful. But this is the kind of thing where I look at it and I go, other than showing it off, I don't look at these. I don't, you know what I mean? But there's what's his face? Freaking Poe Dameron. I can't remember his name. Anyway, that's him. But yeah, this is just insanely cool. It's an insanely cool set. But yeah, so I just wanted to show it off because she brought up Drive, and I'm like, I have a really cool Drive thing. So there you go. So take that.
That is quite the presentation. That reminds me of Mad Men. They do the same thing too, where they just get the license for something, make like a crazy set, and then that's like it. And then they just kind of like move on with it,
Well, that's the cool thing too about one of the things about Second Sight that I love is that they take a lot of time with their transfers. A lot of times they will do a transfer that goes above and beyond what the studios themselves will do. So they will actually spend the money to restore it properly, to color time it properly, all that kind of thing, get the director involved, all that kind of thing. They did that recently with the Blair Witch Project. And
I saw that.
Yeah. And that was like a really, cool, really nice, I mean, Blu-ray only, but still the best quality that you're going to be able to get. The only thing
that's the one that came with the VHS, right?
You could get it as a VHS. Well, no. The one that you saw that I showed off a couple of weeks ago is the American version that another company is doing. So they basically licensed Second Sight's restoration to release it here in the States. And I'm guessing it's because of rights or whatever, because that Blair Witch Project, I also had to import because it was only available in the UK or overseas. It wasn't available in the US. So I had to import that. But like I said, it's a very, very cool set. And this is the kind of thing where if you can, I've gotten to where I'll just randomly check Second Sight, the website, to see if there's any cool movies that I really want a big, crazy special edition with. Most of the time, I will simply choose the disc only. I don't need all this extra stuff. But for some reason, this one spoke to me. So there you go.
Here's a question for you. Maybe you guys know in the chat. I know I could Google search this. It's probably not worth mentioning on a show. So now that I just have a 4K player and I can actually watch decent stuff, could I watch that on the PS5, or do I need to go out and now buy another player as well?
Well, okay. So there's always and that is actually a great question.
Because I know that like my CD, like I was talking to somebody about this earlier today, where he was like, oh, I have like a CD vinyl thing, so I can play your album in there. But he also got like the unlisted playlist, so he got all the digital files too. And he was like, I wanted to put it in my PS5, but I can't. But he was telling me that he got like a Region 2 PS4 game and was able to play that on there as well. So I'm just like, is it certain optical drives that only play certain things, or like, I don't know, I'm confused.
So okay, so you probably, maybe you know this, maybe you don't, but DVDs and Blu-rays had different regions. So, for
Hmm.
example, this drive comes with a 4K disc and a Blu-ray disc. The Blu-ray disc is region B, which is the UK and other
Hmm.
regions or other areas. US and, well, North America is region A. So the Blu-ray won't immediately play in your player, but the 4K will. The 4Ks, in most cases, like Vinny says, 99.9% of the time, it's region free. It should be region free, and you should have no problems buying any. If it's a 4K disc from anywhere in the world, it should play on your PS5 and or any other Blu-ray player. What the thing that's annoying about what Sony and Xbox did for their 4K Blu-ray drives that they put in the PS5 and the Xbox Series X is
Hmm.
there's no HDR. So if they have done an HDR grade for the color timing on this movie, you're not going to see the way that the director saw it when he was doing his thing. You're not going to see it that way because the PS5 and the Xbox, they did not, or the PS5 and the Series X, they did not pay for the HDR licensing. But what's funny is
Weird.
you can do HDR and Dolby Vision through the games. That's no problem. But when it comes to movies, it will not work. It will be standard definition or standard dynamic range only, SDR.
That seems so weird that
So
that is not for one, but it is for the other. That's
right.
really strange.
Right. And it completely confused me, which is why I ended up buying a cheap Sony 4K Blu-ray player. But guess what? A lot of these boutique Blu-rays will pack the 4K discs with so much content that the cheap Blu-ray 4K Blu-ray player that I had won't play it. As soon as it gets to the part where it switches layers, it'll lock up and it won't work anymore. But my Panasonic UB820, which was at the time a $400 player, now it's about $600 and something dollars. Yeah. And it's only in the last year and a half that that's happened. But anyway, that player will play all of my boutique Blu-rays and everything, no problem. And just as a bonus, you put in a Region B Blu-ray and it'll go, this is a Region B Blu-ray or whatever, you can't play it here. It goes back to the regular menu. If you just hit menu a couple of times, it'll just go ahead and play it. like it's so weird. It's like, hey, I can't play this. And then you kind of force it and it'll play it. It's weird.
That's really strange. Yeah. That is very, very
Oh,
odd.
Vinny says that PS5 does do HDR10 playback for movies, but most movies these days are their HDR10 is kind of like the original HDR standard. And yeah, some of those will work, but it's kind of one of those things where if you don't have an HDR or Dolby Vision monitor or TV that you're watching it on, it doesn't matter anyway. You'd have to upgrade both to get the benefit of Dolby Vision or whatever. But if you do have a Dolby Vision TV, HDR TV, and you hook up a PS5, you're not going to be getting the full dynamic range that is possible from that. And see, even some movies, a lot of Criterions, for example, they'll release a 4K movie from Criterion, brand new release, right? New transfer, all that kind of stuff. They won't do an HDR grade on it. And a lot of times it's because it really won't make that much of a difference between, I mean, sure, it'll turn up the brights and make the darks darker and all that kind of stuff, but they don't see the benefit of doing an HDR grade on a lot of their transfers. But a lot of the brand new movies that come out will be HDR graded.
It's so funny. Once I left Blockbuster, I focused on music for so many different years, and now I'm like coming back to like more media and getting back into film a lot. Like so much of this is like new to me. And despite what's on my credit card right now and some cheap movies that I got from Vinny, thank you, Vinny. I don't have the money to be able to get like a really decent TV, so I don't really care. Also, as you saw my little monitor on the screen, like I watch VHS tapes on an old Commodore 1700 or whatever. So like I don't really care that much. I like a lot of retro stuff, but this is really interesting to actually to kind of wrap my head around, and I got a lot to like learn with this new player, so this is it's kind of exciting,
and that's
also kind of weird but very cool.
But that's also why when you asked the question in Discord, that's why I said that. I was asking, well, if you're just going to be watching movies, yeah, you could spend the money on a PS5, But if you're not going to be playing games, then it doesn't make sense to just buy a PS5 for watching movies because you're not going to get the benefit of the Dolby Vision. But if you are going to be playing games, then that is a great thing where you can do multiple things with it and it'll be fine. Like Vinny says, and it's something that I guess I didn't say, but it's absolutely true. Ultra HD Blu-ray discs that include Dolby Vision always have a mandatory base HDR10 layer, so Dolby Vision movies will fall back to HDR10 when played on the PS5. So even though the hardware itself will not play Dolby Vision, it can still play the HDR10.
Interesting. Well, that's at least it seems like I think I bought the best middle ground. You know what I'm saying?
I think so.
At least as far as some of the stuff that I do.
I think so.
I mean, I'm going to be paying it off for a while, but it's fine.
And
I like I said, I got to set myself up for playing with Rufus on Grand Theft Auto. So if
Sure.
that helps me also get some 4K movies and be able to try something else for a little bit, it's okay.
Well,
because unfortunately they don't release a history of. Oh, actually, they do have a history of violence on VHS, but I think it's the most expensive VHS that you can buy. If you've ever heard that folklore before.
Well, and also another thing to keep in mind too is that your Blu-rays are going to look great when they're upsampled. They look fantastic in so many cases. I mean, it depends on the Blu-ray. You know, it's just like anything. You know, the first, for example, like the first wave of PlayStation games that came out for any generation, they look okay, but then they later on in the generation they start looking better and better and better. The later Blu-rays are almost indistinguishable from the first 4K Blu-rays, if that makes sense. So there's some really fantastic, like that Fight Club looks great. Now, I mean, David Fincher then went in with, you know, and upsampled some stuff and changed some stuff and all that stuff, recolor graded some stuff. Some people don't like that. It's actually one of the things that I think it's a big sticking point for a lot of people is when a director does that, is that okay? And I'm like, in my opinion, I don't know about you, but for me, it's like, if the director does it, more power to them. And guess what? I have the Blu-ray. If I ever want to watch the old version, I can. But, you know, I'd rather them push the limits and go as far as they can with whatever technology is, whatever. And as long as they're happy with it, I'm cool with it.
For me, it's more so like when I bought that Blu-ray of Fight Club, like I think I own it digitally on like Apple or something like that. And I mean, I've owned it like 3 times in my life, you know, but I've sold so many things, thanks drug addiction and being in bands. But when I bought that recently, it was like the difference in price. I was like, I can buy 4 other movies right now rather than buying the 4K. So it's not that big of a difference. And Fight Club, I don't think is a movie that I really need to have on 4K. But in regards to what you were just mentioning, like I think if the director is not doing what like George Lucas did with his remasters, then I think it's perfectly fine. And like you said, when there's different versions out there, if you like something else or a different cut, you're a huge Alien fan. The Alien 4K, that's one that I have here, like having the different versions on the disc itself, it's a better release. And the director goes to a point and he's not cutting out stuff or changing things and trying to rewrite whatever history. That kind of stuff I think is great. And sure, maybe, you know, you might not like the color correction or the direction that they want to go with it. But I think those things are so minuscule that 90% of audiences aren't even going to pick up on it anyway. You'll pick it up because you're a giant nerd, and that, you know what I'm saying? And like, that's a good thing. And that's what you're watching it for. Most people don't even care. You know what I'm saying? They're just like, oh my gosh, do you see the sweat on the xenomorph? That's crazy. And then they just go along with it, you know? But yeah, as long as they're not chopping out scenes or rewriting history or just doing ridiculous stuff, I don't really care. If it makes the film better, that's awesome. You know what I'm saying?
Well, see, I guess that's where a lot of the debate comes in, is that they're taking the time to put it on a superior format, but then they're making changes that make it worse. Like, for example, a great example of that is James Cameron, Aliens, right? So Aliens has had a look on physical media since the Laserdisc days. You know, it's always been kind of a dark, sort of a muddy look to it. It makes it look more grungy, kind of, you know, whatever. Well, this new 4K cleans up a lot of that stuff. and he used AI to take that 1080p negative that was used for the old Blu-ray set and upsampled it, and it almost looks like a new movie. Now,
Do you have that handy, the Alien one? Sorry to
I have
interrupt you.
both.
Just curious.
I have the Blu-ray.
Is it near?
Yeah.
Can you? Did you guys see that shirt? It says "Tell me something great" on the back. You can get that on my website, justneeds.com. I know it's not as cool as this Order 42 shirt, but you know, shameless plug. That's some butt right there.
But yeah, so I have the Alien Anthology, the Blu-ray set that comes with all the Blu-rays. So
Okay.
it's got.
I've
This
got
is
a cheap like Walmart one of one of those.
Yeah,
That
this
set
is a
right
really
there
cool
looks
set because
amazing.
it's just a really cool set. But there's Alien, and then there's Alien,
Ugh.
and then
Dude,
there's
that
Alien
second picture.
Alien 3, which comes with the assembly cut. The assembly
Hmm.
cut is the cut that
Mhm.
I'm going blank on the name. Charles de Lauzirika did, based on David Fincher's notes, because David Fincher
Mhm.
was like, I disown this movie. I never want to talk about it. I never want to think about it again. But sure, if you want to use my notes, my production notes, to basically Frankenstein a cut of Alien 3 based on my original notes, go for it. But don't call it a director's cut. And so they call it an assembly cut. So it's basically based on
Yeah.
his notes and what the available footage. And then there's Alien Resurrection, and then there's another couple of things about the archives, all the special features. There's a book, and this is an awesome set. This is the Blu-ray set. So this this version of Aliens looks still muddy and kind of not great. This
Yeah.
one is the updated version, the 4K release, and it literally looks like a brand new movie.
But that's Aliens. Do you have like? Are you talking about that? Or are you
No.
talking about the first? You're talking about Aliens.
I'm talking about
but-
James
okay.
Cameron's
I
sequel.
misheard.
The
I misheard you.
original. I
Okay,
have
okay.
the Alien, Ridley Scott Alien 4K as well.
See, that's the one that I have here, and I think that still looked like
He
fine.
didn't.
It still kind of had like a gritty kind of texture to the 4K,
Yeah.
but I don't have Aliens here, so that's really interesting, and I'll have to track that one down because I have all these different versions. It'll be interesting to see the AI additions to that to see
Well,
if that actually
it just
what it
makes
does,
it
you know.
it makes it a lot brighter, and unfortunately and this is where you get into this debate with people about intention, director's intention. Like once you release a movie, it no longer belongs to the director, it belongs to the audience, and blah blah blah. So for the longest time, Aliens looked like crap because they used Super 35 to shoot on it, which has poor light. The light doesn't project onto the film correctly. That's why it's always super grainy. Every version of Aliens in the past always had this very dark, grungy, dirty kind of look to it, which also, honestly, I think fits the film. It fits the nature of the film, the Marines, and all this kind of stuff. It's all part of the storytelling, and to a lot of people, that is the movie. But to me, watching this was almost like watching it through a new lens, and I got to see all of this detail that I'd never seen before. Now, I'll tell you this, Billy, Game Chasers Billy, hated this. He hated it. He thought it looked terrible. And he said, I've done so much AI upsampling over the years that I know when it looks like crap. This one, to him, looked like crap. I thought it was great. But I'm also, if I ever want to go back, I can. So it's one of those weird things where I'm in a situation where I can sit here and go, yeah, this was fine. This was fun. This was fun to watch as a new experience. But I can understand for somebody who's trying to replace a Blu-ray with a superior format, but it looks different and it's not the same movie that they remember. It's not that dark, grungy. There's a lot of videos online where you can see a lot of the side-by-side footage, and you can see the difference is it's not as simple, oh, that looks sharper. No, it's sharper, it's brighter, it's almost distracting. So
You can take the employee out of the blockbuster, but you're not going to take the blockbuster out of the employee. And it's hilarious your review on this because you sound like I feel like it's some of these conversations that we have on like Discord, and if you guys don't hang out in the Discord chat, you should because it's always a silly, fun time. But every time we talk about this, it just reminds me of those conversations that I would have at Blockbuster. And even though I respect Billy's opinion, and I think I kind of have a loose understanding of where he's coming from in his perspective, but yours is more from the film appreciation, where it's like, even if you disagree with it, it's like I can still put it through a lens and view it through something where I can compare and contrast and find the good as well as notice the bad and hold them both simultaneously, not just hating it because of something,
Right.
which is like very much the film lover who has the passion for the film and can hold them both.
Well,
And
and it's
that's just it to me. This is like a comforting conversation that I've had for years. So it's just hilarious.
well,
This is very
so
special for me.
so 3 movies were released at the same time, right? 3 James Cameron movies that they're all 4Ks. There was a lot of movies that had never seen 4K. So everybody was really excited. So it was True Lies, Aliens, and The Abyss. I believe True Lies was the first movie that they worked on because there are scenes, like Vinny says, that absolutely looks like crap. Like it's got that weird texture to somebody's face and it looks plastic or whatever, and it's literally distracting when you're watching the movie.
Now I got to interrupt. It was that because of when was it because of how early AI was that he was using it, or do you think it was because his lack of experience and that was
I
how
think
it was
it's
applied, kind of
I
thing?
think it could be a mixture of both. It could be
Interesting.
the lack of experience of the person running the software. Because James
Hmm.
Cameron's not sitting down on a computer doing this crap. It could just be that as they went along, they got better and better and better at it. Because to me, this is the middle ground of the 3. And I think
Hmm.
The Abyss is jaw-droppingly gorgeous. Now, some people don't agree, but I think True Lies is the worst looking one. Aliens is the middle ground, and to me, one of the bigger jumps in quality. It's insane the quality difference between the Blu-ray and
Hmm.
the 4K. But then The Abyss, to me, is a revelation. If you've like, I own the original DVD set, the 2-disc DVD set of The Abyss. Both True Lies and The Abyss never got an official Blu-ray ever in the US. It
Hmm.
never got an official Blu-ray. Now you could get some imports from overseas or whatever, but there was never officially released on Blu-ray. So the fact that both of these movies for the first time are going to be in 4K, holy crap! And then they put them in their player, and True Lies looks like it looks like they have plaster on their faces. There are scenes that are gross looking. It just looks bad. But it's only certain scenes. Most of the movie is fine. But then there's those scenes that kind of take you out of it. Honestly though, True Lies is my least favorite of the 3. So I'm kind of like, I mean, it kind of looks like crap, but I don't care. I have it in 4K now. How often am I going to watch the movie anyway? This is the one
It
that I
seems
was
like a
worried
weird
about,
movie.
and I was very happy with it.
It seems like a weird movie for them to do a bunch of AI like changes to it, but it's funny that it would hit you, and it just reminds me of like watching bad CGI. Like recently I was rewatching the Blu-ray of the first Terminator, and like some of those scenes with the animatronic face, it's like, oh, this does not
Yeah.
hold up at all whatsoever. So it'd be really interesting to see if he goes back and does something like that to fix it, or if it's I don't know. I don't know.
So
Very
wait,
interesting
so
though.
you've got Aliens is from 1986. To me,
Hmm.
this one was the biggest jump in improvement between the Blu-ray and the 4K. Yes, there are probably scenes in here that if you went frame by frame, you could probably see some of the weird artifacting stuff that AI tends to do when it does the upsampling. Uh, True Lies is the newest movie from 1994 is when that movie came out, and it looks the worst. Just because of the way I think they were too heavy-handed on the upsampling portion. The kind of, hey, go crazy and clean this movie up. And it doesn't look good. The Abyss is right in the middle in 1989 is when that movie came out. And I'm telling you, to me, it looks insanely good. And I think it literally is. True Lies was the first one. They were learning how to use the software. James Cameron didn't give a shit. So he just said, okay, Aliens looks even like, you can tell the progression. Aliens looks way better. Then The Abyss looks the best of the three. So that's just, I don't know. That's just my opinion. But I mean, like, it's one of those things where I'm like, here's the thing that people can't seem to understand is that there are many different ways that you can restore a movie like that. You can go back to the original camera negative, rescan it in 4K, recolor time it, do all that stuff, right? You can do that. The problem is, Aliens in particular, the oldest movie, has all of that rear projection crap, which I've talked about many times on stream, but it's basically they're filming scenes with plastic rocks in front of a freaking movie screen. They're playing a movie and then they're acting, basically there's a layer that's not there. It's just they're rear projecting a piece of, you know, model photography onto a screen, and it looks like crap. It always looked like crap. Even here, it looks like crap. I was hoping they would re-sample all of that stuff and rotoscope that crap together and make it look better. They didn't do that. And why? Because it's cheaper. It's cheaper to throw it into a piece of software, do some upsampling, and call it a day. That's what they did. And it's because they probably looked at the cost benefit and they said, it's not worth us going back to the negative and doing all of this restoration. That's not cheap. It costs, Fidelity in Motion is one of the companies that does this stuff, right? They're not cheap. And to do that kind of work, it would be extremely expensive, more expensive than they think that they'll make off of these 4Ks. So the cost benefit wasn't there. You know what I mean? So that's the thing that you have to take into consideration. And if you don't like it, if you see, a clip online and you're like, well, that looks like crap, don't buy it. Simple.
I mean, this might be, people might disagree, but I don't think Aliens is the one to do it. I don't think some of the names that you said would be one of the ones to do it. I think if he did it with a Titanic release or something like that, then it might be, that might have enough
Right.
interest on a bigger scale that people would be like, okay, we know this will sell. We'll put the extra time into there. You know what I mean? Which that movie could use it because it has a whole bunch of mistakes that were left in that final cut. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that could help. But I could see them looking at Aliens and just being like, this is good enough. You know
Vinny
what I'm saying?
says you're too forgiving. But think about this. When you think of, now, we may be talking to, we're the two of us, ex-Blockbuster employees. I know pretty much what you're going to say. But what version of Miracle on 34th Street do you remember?
VHS, whatever was played on television, honestly.
Right.
And it's just a warm, crappy version. That's just the image that pops into my head.
Black and white
instantly.
or colorized?
I'd probably say colorized, actually.
See, I think black and white because I know that that's the original version. But I also know that they Ted Turner back in the 80s was colorizing everything because people were saying, we don't like black and white. We don't want to see that crap. Mm-hmm. So he was colorizing everything. Guess what? In a lot of cases, that's what people have in their mind now is this colorized version. The only people that care about the black and white are nerds like me or people that grew up back then. Guess what? Those people are dying off. So guess what? In the future, this is the version that everybody's going to be seeing. Nobody's going to even remember the old Super 35 muddy, gross, the dynamic range is just absolute dog shit. Nobody's going to remember that version anymore. This is the version that's going to last forever. And guess what? Most people won't even care. Because why?
Like I know Miracle.
Because why? They're watching on their freaking phone. So what does it matter?
Well, a lot of people ask me, why did I go to Illinois twice to work? I live in California. Why did I go to Illinois twice to work on the album? They're like, you could have recorded it here. And it's like, there's a reason that I want to. And they're like, well, people are just going to be listening to it on their phone. And it's just like, come on now. Like, but they're not wrong. And I know Miracle on 34th Street, wasn't black and white. I think I just remember seeing it as color, like when I was younger, but you're right. And, I guess that goes back to that comment that I said about like George Lucas, because even if that is the copy that they see for years to come, they're still at least getting the film. It's not like he like is cutting out certain scenes and a completely different cut or something like that, and then he's just trying to rewrite history and bury what it is, which that's already happening for Star Wars fans. That happened a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? So that's at least some silver lining, but I don't disagree with you at all in the slightest. That's people won't care unless there's some sort of purist or, you know, something.
Well, and here's the thing too. Like Vinny said, I'm going to make my own review that will solely be disagreeing with Rob. But here's the thing. And even Filbert said, I agree with Vinny. If you're going to do a job, do it right. But here's the thing. The studios are led by people who are, what is the number one priority? Not if you like it. It's all about money. And the fact
it's
is,
the same conversation.
A 40-year-old movie is not worth them spending the money on when you can throw it into AI and get it done in a weekend. That is just and again, I'm not saying that it's okay. I'm saying that that is what these people are looking at. So you can either take this and go, yeah, it's not exactly what I want, but you know what? It's a different experience. And by the way, this is still available to purchase. You can find these everywhere. Or you can just not buy it. It's really one of the two, and it's very, very simple. And I totally understand when somebody's mad about it. But what I don't understand is people saying, "Oh, like I had people on my review when I went through all that. I went through all like basically what I'm saying right now. I had people saying, "You're part of the problem, blah 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 blah." And I'm like, again, I have the best of both worlds. I get to enjoy this in 4K in a version I've never seen before. Why is that bad? And plus, if I ever want to go back, I've got the Blu-ray. For me, this is a great release. This is a great release. True Lies? Yeah. I mean, it's bad. It's not good. But guess what? I've never bought True Lies before. I've never thought that movie was very good. I bought it to be complete because I was like, all the James Cameron movies right now in 4K? Yay. I'm kind of disappointed that it looks like crap, but oh well.
Okay, first off, you're out of your mind because Bill Paxton in True Lies is a national treasure.
I mean, it's great.
Okay.
It's great. It's great, but it's not one of my like when I think of James Cameron.
Yeah, no, not at all. You know, we have this conversation all the time between art and commerce, and it's the thing that's just maddening is the fact that they don't have to do that, but profits, costs, everything that goes into it. It's like that's really what it comes down to. And though Filbert and Vinny are saying, you know, like if you're gonna do it right, and it's like, yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, they're not. And maybe we talked about this last week with like Nolan making the choice to do IMAX. It's like maybe the director will come by and put his foot down and spend the extra money, and he really wants to do it for certain reasons. But unfortunately, it's not always happening, and it sucks. Like it really sucks.
Sorry, I'm listening to you, but I just read Bonobo Juice saying I'm watching It's a Wonderful Life on the chitter at work on my phone. But it's the whole thing is though, really, it's from a studio perspective. For Aliens, there's two options. Mm-hmm. Don't release it at all, or release it as cheaply as possible. That's really the only.
Yeah, because
they act like that. The problem with Vinny and Filbert, what they're saying, and again, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think that going back to the camera negative for film preservation is the way to go. But the problem is, you have two options from a studio standpoint. There's two options for them: release the Blu-ray again, do an AI upsample because it's cheap. Those are your only two options. They act like going back to the camera negative was always on the table. Sure, but as soon as they saw the price, they were like, we ain't doing that. For a 40-year-old movie, that doesn't make any sense. So they say, those are your two options. That's why they did what they did. Now, you can argue with that and say, well, that's stupid, but that's the way it is. And by the way, I kept saying that they were upsampling the Blu-ray. It's actually that there was a 2K intermediate, a digital intermediate that they had. That's what they used for the Blu-ray, which is why the Blu-ray for Aliens still looks pretty good for it being shot on Super 35. But that's what it is. It's the camera negative was always off the table. It was never an option. So
I think it's for them. It's just the financial gamble of re-releasing, like you said, a 40-year-old movie, and I just keep going back to, like, if it was a film like Titanic, I could see them doing it. If it is such a safe bet, then it makes a lot of sense. But with a movie like Aliens, I don't see where the justification can come unless Cameron literally stops what's happening to being able to be like, no, 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 this is what we're doing, and really puts his foot down, which I don't know if that's a hill that he'll die on, and I don't know if they'll actually play ball with it. I don't think it's the right movie to do it. So I know I agree with you. I know exactly what Filbert and Vinny are saying, and I agree with that too. But
But
he
Vinny said they
the
AI'd
this
Titanic as well. I didn't know that. I don't have the
really,
Titanic 4K.
yeah, I don't know either, but that would be, if that is the case, that's interesting. I wonder if he just likes it because, Cameron is a guy who embraces technology. I wonder if he just likes it and he's like, we're just going to do it. Um, and just went ahead with it. I don't know. I would just think that if you're going to take the time, that would probably be the one in his catalog to do it with. You know what I mean?
By the way, okay, seriously, honestly, Filbert and Vinny, I agree with you. But again, that wasn't an option. Going back to the camera negative wasn't an option. But Vinny said something that honestly is incorrect, and I have to correct this before we end the stream. I have to correct this. Vinny said it's like Star Wars only being in special edition. Okay, there are things about Star Wars that are way over our head. There are things about Star Wars that we don't understand. Part of the reason for the special edition, there were two reasons to do the special edition back in 1997 to do all these, okay? Number one, testing. Because he was ramping up, he was starting to write The Phantom Menace. He said, we've got to work on this digital technology. We think we're at a good point now. Let's re-release the Star Wars special. He said, how do I unsubscribe? I love you, Vinny. How can we re-release the Star Wars trilogy, the original trilogy, with new scenes, new CG, and we can test all of this stuff, and we can try to basically get the pipeline rolling of how we're going to do this, because a lot of this movie is going to be CG. So that was part of it. The second part of it, and this is the more important one, I'm not sure if this is 100% true, but for, at that point, 14 years, so after the release of Return of the Jedi, every time that they released a copy of the Star Wars trilogy on home video, Lucas had to write a check to Marcia Lucas, his ex-wife. By doing the special edition, it changed the movie, which meant that any future editions of those movies, Marcia Lucas would no longer get a cut. Now, I'm not certain that that's 100% true, but if it is, it makes a lot of sense for the way that Lucas was adamant that as long as he's alive, the Star Wars, the only version of the original trilogy would be the special editions, the brand new versions that were released in 1997. So take that what you will, but I'm fairly certain that makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know if it's true, but it is exactly the thing that makes perfect sense to me, because that was a very, 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 very costly divorce when Marcia Lucas decided to divorce George Lucas. So that's just, I mean, again, this is just what I've heard over the years. I don't know if it's true, but it makes sense to me. You make new versions of the movies, guess what? You don't have to pay your ex-wife anymore for that crap.
He wouldn't be the first person to do it, and then watching some of the financial moves and the backtracking on things that he has said over the years, it makes a lot of sense why something like that could be true. Like, it's not that far-fetched to think that that would be a smart pivot to take. You know what I mean?
And Marcia Lucas recently passed away, and guess what? For the 50th anniversary, we're getting Star Wars A New Hope in theaters in the original version next year. So take that as you will. It's kind of interesting, right? She died, what, 6 months ago? 8 months ago? It is interesting.
It's gross.
Or it could just be that is the way of life. I mean, think about it. If you married a woman, you loved her, and then she left you wouldn't you be like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna make a new version, so I don't have to pay her anymore. For at least for that. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not totally out of the realm of possibility.
Not at all.
But at the same
Not at all.
time, I think it's I think that's what it comes down to. But at the same time, I've always been the kind of person that's like, if a director wants to do something, they should do it. Period. Because guess what? He warned us back in 1995, the final release of the VHS, which I have in widescreen VHS up here, which was very hard to find, by the way. Very hard to find. Anyway, the 95 special, or what, the pre-special edition, the trailer says, own the original version of the Star Wars trilogy one last time. They said it in the marketing. It was always the plan. But
Dude, how can you believe that? I mean, every film says only in theaters. You know what I mean? No one gave that a second thought.
true.
You know.
True. But like me,
But
as a kid,
interesting.
I was like, crap, I got to buy this. Because I was, honestly, there's a part of me that still wants to get those final Laserdisc versions. The ones they call them the Faces release. Here.
Filber's
show you.
like, get George Lucas on next week. Let's ask him.
Dude, seriously, I would love to talk to him. But this is the Faces release, the THX widescreen edition, Star Wars trilogy, still in great condition.
Yeah, no one cares that regular show is on Blu-ray, but I did just talk to the guy who did voice acting for Rigby. Check out teamoral.com. That is a really nice set right there, Rob.
Yeah. And it's, you know what's funny? I still have the receipt.
Does it have your address on it?
No.
Everyone, look, take a screenshot.
Nope. But it was $58.99 back in, let's see, July 20th, 1996.
Man, that's pricey. I got one of these DVDs for $6, man.
Well, I'm just saying. It's a very, very nice set, though. Very nice set. Anyway. But that's just the kind of nerd I am. I'm showing off the great stuff tonight, man. I'm just showing it all off.
It's awesome.
And oh yeah.
Did you mail Vinny your Breath of the Wild special edition? Just kidding.
I don't have a Breath of the Wild special edition. Oh, you're talking about the CDs? No.
Yeah.
No,
I was just kidding.
No, that's mine. But hey, it's 10:30. So why don't we head over to the old Discord hangout and let's hang out and chat and stuff. But real quick before we go, I do want to mention once again justinyates.com, and you can just scan, and rufusthered.com, sure. But yeah, you can scan the QR code or click the link that's been in chat 100 times. I don't know how many times. A lot of times.
Hey, Rob.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me come and hang out and asking some fun questions. And I stumbled onto your page through familiar channels, and I just have always felt very welcomed in this community. And I just want to say thanks. And thanks for being cool. And I hate you because now I have this like movie addiction again. So, take that. And you really look good in that shirt. And I really appreciate you supporting a little fish. That's goes a long way, man. And I appreciate it. So thank you very much for doing what you do, man. Letting me just be a part of it. It's awesome.
Of course. And I will also say that it's actually the same thing that I've been saying, well, since we started this channel, is that if we have members of our community that are creative and doing stuff that's creative, we should support those creators as much as we can, whether it's going to your site and purchasing a CD or something, or going to each other's streams or whatever. I think it's a big part of having a really healthy community is a community that supports each other. And even if, hey, maybe we're having a rough day and we want to chat, that should be something that we should all be able to do. And it's one of the things I love about doing this. It's so much fun.
I gotta say also, for those in the stream, Good night, Miss Moon, by the way. If you're still here. I really appreciate everyone else in the stream who's actually picked up some merch, and picked up some things. I know a few of you guys have, like Ninjutsu and Filbert with his amazing shorts, and a few other people. I really appreciate the support, guys, and welcoming me into this community. It's really awesome. I could talk about it for a while, but I won't bore you guys forever. But thank you. It means a lot.
Okay. Well, then there you go. And yes, I also appreciate that. I mean, you know that. I mean, I say it every week, right? I appreciate that you guys are just here, and the fact that we support each other is part of the fun. But anyway, so yeah, we're gonna jump over to the Discord, and we're gonna hang out some more, at least for at least another hour and a half, maybe more. And yeah, there's Vinny right there. Here's why Rob is truly an idiot. Thank you, Vinny. And I apologize. I haven't been as attentive as I typically am with the chat. I apologize. But, hey, when you have a guest, you want to pay attention to your guest. You know what I mean? So yeah. But yeah, KP Senti, Vinny, Filbert, Staffaux. Of course, I saw Miss Moon, which Miss Moon, it was great to have you here. Bucho, of course, Chris. I saw Johnny in there earlier, and then Jinzu. And I mean, look, seriously. All you guys are amazing, and I really do appreciate the support, and you helping to support Justin as well. It's awesome. But anyway, hey, you guys have a great night, and we'll see you next week.